Chapter 633. Ever since she was born, she had never seen anyone use a horsewhip to whip their own son. Was this really his own son? If he was, how could he bear to do it? Was it because of what happened yesterday? She was clearly the victim yesterday. None of the victims jumped out to hit anyone. How could a father hit someone? The next whip landed with a PS sound. Everyone lowered their heads. Old Madame Yi clutched her chest and didn't dare to look. Jiang Liqing used the tone he used to train soldiers. You've made me lose all my face. You wolf cub, you're still a public servant. You're still my son. Now, I can't even straighten my back when I walk out. How could you do such a wicked thing? You even caused the Jiang and Qin families to be threatened by the family Ouyang. You're not a thing. Ye suddenly understood. Threatened by the family Ouyang? The implications of this matter were so big? Was it because she hit Ouyang Yen? The blood on Jiang Zhao's back felt wet. Ye's scalp felt tight and numb. When the whip was about to land again, Ye rushed over and grabbed Jiang Liqing's wrist. Jiang Liqing glared at her. Ye panicked, but she didn't dare to dodge. She cried and shouted, "Dad!" She held Jiang Liqing's hand tightly. Ye knew many rules in the Jiang and Qin families. Jiang Zhao said that all of them had been punished to kneel before. When they were young, they were often punished to kneel because the elders felt that they were very powerful. She slowly knelt down, unable to feel the cold air on the floor because the chill in her heart was already heavy enough. She raised her head, tears blurred her vision as she said earnestly, "Father, I'm sorry. This matter. I didn't expect it to blow up to this extent. I was the one who hit Ouyang Yen. I slapped her a total of 16 times. I'll take responsibility for what I did. Please don't hit Jiang Zhao." Old Madame Yi was shocked. 16 slaps. Oh my God. Was he beaten until he was deaf? When she saw that her granddaughter-in-law had stepped forward to plead for leniency, she quickly stood up and pulled Jiang Liqing back. "Liqing, look, even Ye has said to let it go." Qin Rongfang had always been protective of his children. Jiang Zhao had basically been in Haiqing for more than 10 years, and they had a deep relationship. When they got married, he could jump out and stop Jiang Liqing from getting physical. He could say, "It's just a marriage, so be it. It's not a big deal." But the nature of this matter was different. If Jiang Zhao was willing to divorce and marry family Ouyang, it would be fine. But if he wasn't, it would be a mess. Seeing that Ye had stepped forward, Qin Rongfang thought that the time had come. He couldn't hit him anymore. "Liqing, it's about time. 2 lashes. You'll have to recuperate for at least half a month." When Jiang Zhao turned around, the frown that had been on his face when he was being hit earlier had disappeared. When he saw Ye kneeling on the ground, he couldn't help but laugh. He tugged at Ye's sleeve. "Yun Yi, get up. Someone will help you vent your anger. When you're no longer angry, let's go home, okay?" Ye's heart ached. This wasn't the right way to vent his anger. He let go of Jiang Zhao with one hand, but he didn't dare to let go of Jiang Liqing's hand with the other. He pushed Jiang Zhao away and said, "It's none of your business." "All right, I won't bother with you. Get up. Don't kneel. It's winter. Or you can go home first. Don't stay here and watch. Just think that I deserve to be hit. You can't do it, so your father-in-law will do it for you. That way you'll feel better." Jiang Liqing added, "Ye get up. I'll seek justice for you." In Jiang Liqing's eyes, regardless of whether he sought justice for his daughter-in-law, Jiang Zhao's son still had to be taught a lesson. Now that this matter had escalated to this point, the elders on both sides were alarmed. His mother had refused to take a plane for many years and had risked her life to come to Haiqing. This wolf cub was unfilial. It would have been better if Ye hadn't heard what Jiang Liqing said. After he heard what Jiang Liqing said, he immediately plucked up his courage and snatched the whip from Jiang Liqing's hand. He quickly stood up and turned around. Jiang Liqing was stunned. Ye had already rushed up to Jiang Zhao and raised the whip. He raised his hand to wipe away the tears on his face and sniffed hard. "You owe me. I'll do it myself. I'll hit you myself to vent my anger." Jiang Zhao looked at Ye, nodded and turned around again. The whip was in Ye's hand, and what she had thrown at Jiang Zhao was only a slap. When her slap landed, she was afraid that she would hit the wound on his back, so she pushed his shoulder to face him and slapped his chest. She sobbed and scolded at the top of her voice, "Wu, Jiang Zhao, you bastard. Your conscience has been eaten by the Ouyang Yen. You're so despicable. Oh, I'll just beat you to death, you bastard." Ye's hair was messy and she was wearing very little. Everyone in the room watched her throw a tantrum, but no one went to stop her. Who couldn't see that she was slapping him again and again? Her palms were empty. There were only sounds, but she didn't use any strength. She used more strength when she cried than when she hit him. Old Madam's heart ached. She tugged at Old Master Jiang's hand. "Old man, you've really sinned." Old Master Jiang sighed. "Sin." Yi Er suddenly hugged Jiang Zhao's neck. She clenched her fists and hit his shoulders. She cried and shouted angrily, "Have you been beaten, silly? I've hit you so hard. Don't you feel pain?" She leaned into his ear and whispered in a sobbing voice, If you don't feel pain, Dad will still hit you. Are you transformed from a pig?" Jiang Zhao's heart ached. He slowly reached out and hugged Yi Er. His palm wrapped around the back of her head and pressed against his shoulders tightly. He closed his eyes and the corners of his mouth opened. He breathed out shakily and choked out, "Yunyi. Yunyi, don't worry about it." Jiang Zhao tried to make his voice softer. In fact, it was worth it to be whipped a few more times. It would be best if he couldn't get out of bed. Then she wouldn't have the heart to argue with him. Yi Er let go of Jiang Zhao. She turned around and looked at Jiang Liqing weakly. "Dad, look, I've hit you. Please don't hit me, okay?" Jiang Zhao pulled Yi Er's wrist. "Yinyi, it's okay." Yi Er glared at Jiang Zhao. He walked to Jiang Liqing's side and teased his son with a smile. "Mian Mian, tell Grandpa not to be angry, okay? Mian Mian, tell Grandpa that everything goes well." Mian Mian reached out his chubby hand to grab Jiang Liqing's epaulette. The epaulette that represented the military rank had a silent dignity. Mian Mian leaned over and kissed Jiang Liqing's face. Then he said, "Grandpa, everything goes well. Mian Mian wants this." The whole family laughed. "Ah, you little brat. You're not even 2 years old yet you want either a whip or an epaulette. Come, let Grandpa kiss you." Then he kissed Mian Mian's soft little face. Yi Er saw this and quickly picked up the coat on the ground and put it on Jiang Zhao. Jiang Rui threw Mian Mian into Jiang Liqing's arms so that he wouldn't be free. He also instigated Mian Mian. "Mian Mian, Grandpa has a gun. Kiss Grandpa a few more times and let him bring you to play with guns." Jiang Rui made a shooting gesture for Mian Mian to see and added, "Pia. Pia." He tempted Mian Mian. A boy's toys were always guns or cars. Mian Mian was no exception. When she heard Jiang Rui say that Jiang Liqing had a gun, she reached out and hugged Jiang Liqing's neck excitedly. "I love Grandpa, I love Grandpa. Grandpa is the most handsome." Then she laughed and snuggled into Jiang Liqing's neck. Everyone in the Jiang family said that Mian Mian was a little devil, but they all liked this little devil very much. Although he was mischievous, he spoke early and knew how to flatter. Xiang Wan and Jiang Rui had a good relationship. The child was also influenced by his parents and did not cry easily. Xiang Wan often taught Mian Mian to please Old Master Jiang and Old Madam Jiang. At this time, the little devil used this method on Jiang Liqing and it was very effective. Once Jiang Liqing was entangled with Mian Mian, Qin Rongfang, Old Master Jiang, and Old Madam Jiang quickly went over to surround them. Old Madam Jiang was fanning at the side. "Mian Mian, Grandpa is going to die from your flattery." "Ah." Xiang Wan walked to Jiang Rui's side and touched Mian Mian's neck. "Baby, Grandpa's shooting skills are very accurate. He looks so handsome when he shoots. He's a sharpshooter. Can our baby learn how to shoot from Grandpa in the future?" Jiang Liqing couldn't stand it when he heard someone flattering him. Mian Mian hugged Jiang Liqing excitedly and refused to let go. "Ah, I love Grandpa. Grandpa is handsome. Let's shoot." "Bi." Yi Er dragged Jiang Zhao away. Jiang Zhao didn't want to and couldn't. Yi Er gently tugged at Old Madam Jiang's sleeve. "Grandma, can you tell Dad that we're leaving first?" Old Madam Jiang couldn't wait for Jiang Zhao to leave quickly. She turned her head. Liqing, Mian Mian was still making a fuss on the plane from Jiang District. Now that he's not making a fuss anymore, he likes you a lot. Can you help him play with you? Jiang Liqing wasn't a fool. How could he not see that his family was getting along well? After all, he was old now. He wasn't as hot-blooded as he used to be when he was young. He had used all his strength to whip Mian Mian twice and saw blood. Just like what his father-in-law said, Mian Mian had been recuperating for half a month. In fact, his heart ached for her too. Hence, he carried Mian Mian and walked out of the hall. When he passed by Jiang Zhao, he said, "Go back and reflect on yourself." Old Madam Jiang pushed Jiang Zhao and said with a sullen face, "Why aren't you going back with your wife? We won't let you stay for dinner today." Old Madam Jiang wasn't sure if Jiang Liqing would throw a tantrum again after a while, so she felt more at ease sending him away. Yi Er forgot to exchange pleasantries with the whole family and hurriedly pulled Jiang Zhao away. Qin Fian sat on the swing in the side courtyard. It wasn't that he didn't hear the commotion in the main hall. It was so loud that it was hard not to hear it. He thought to himself that the 2 whippings he took today were worth it. He raised his wrist and looked at the time. The surface of the watch was clean and bright, and the diamond inside shone brightly under the sunlight. He tapped the surface of the watch with his other hand and chuckled. Fake watch, what a beautiful fake watch. Jiang Zhao thought that the matter was over. Since Yi Er had jumped out to help him, he thought that since he had already lost his face, why should he care? It turned out that there was no difference between losing face once and losing it 10 times. Hence, he sat in the front passenger's seat and pulled Yi Er's hand. Honey, I'm hungry. The tears on Yi Er's face had dried, and his face was as cold as it was in the morning. He swung his arm and slapped Jiang Zhao's hand away. Stay away from me. I told you this morning not to touch me. Jiang Zhao retracted his hand. He couldn't even pretend to be cool when he was in the wrong. But you touched me first. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. I'm sending you back now. What about you? I'm going out to look for a house. Jiang Zhao knew. Yi Er groaned in her heart. You don't have to move. I'll move. Don't let Dad find out. Just say that I'm on a business trip. You saw for yourself that Dad wasn't around today. This means that the Jiang and Qin families didn't tell Dad about this. You don't want him to worry, right? After all, in his eyes, we are still very loving. He has a weak heart, right? Yi Er drove the car. She thought that this was good too. She didn't want to agitate Dad. Beauty novel Songshu 566. Chapter 634. He could have stayed silent, but Jiang Zhao asked shamelessly, Yunyi, why did you help me just now? Yi Er answered against her will, I don't think violence can solve problems. All right, let's not talk about it anymore. Jiang Zhao said dejectedly, if you don't want to tell me, I won't ask. Help me apply medicine on my back when we get back. Yi Er held the steering wheel and rolled her eyes at Jiang Zhao. Don't you know there's a mirror at home? Do it yourself. Jiang Zhao straightened his back and almost hissed in pain. He couldn't pretend to be calm anymore. He wanted to say that he could move out, but his back was injured and it would be convenient for her to help him apply medicine if he stayed at home to recuperate for 2 days. 2 days was 2 days, but she was so ruthless. How do I apply medicine on your back? I can't turn my hand. There are beauty salons and massage parlors in the neighborhood. Take your medicine and give them some money to apply it for you. Yi Er snorted coldly after she said that. In this world, everything will turn if you leave someone. I don't believe that you can let your back rot without me applying medicine for you. If you really can't do it, there are so many servants in the Qin family. You can go back to the Qin family every day to eat with them. Yunyi. A day as husband and wife means endless devotion for the rest of your life. That's how you are. Jiang Zhao couldn't care less and started to take advantage of her. Yes, it was broken when you did that stupid thing yesterday. What's there to be grateful for? Yi Er's temper was like that of a hooligan. She was already a broken jar in front of Jiang Zhao, so she wasn't afraid of falling. But you helped me just now. Jiang Zhao was so anxious that his neck turned stiff. I was impulsive. Now that I think about it, why did I do that? You're going to be someone else's husband in the future. I'm protecting you so well, so I'm protecting her. I'll stop the car and you can take a taxi back to get whipped. Yi Er said heartlessly and really stepped on the brakes. Get out of the car. Why should I get out of the car? Go back and get whipped. Out of sight, out of mind. Yunyi, you're such a dishonest woman. Jiang Zhao gnashed his teeth. Yi Er sneered, you can't wait for me to die. If I die, you'll write widowed in your book. Then you can openly marry that living woman, right? Hurry up and go. Hurry up and live together. I can't be bothered to look. Jiang Zhao reclined his chair and glared at Yi Er before falling down. There was a wound on his back and it hurt so much that his flesh twitched. He was too embarrassed to scream, so he immediately turned his back to Yi Er and ignored her. Yi Er thought to herself that he had finally stopped. She really didn't want to talk nonsense with him. Her heart ached when she saw him injured, but when she saw him alive and kicking, she felt annoyed. She was just asking for it. Yi Er and Jiang Zhao returned to Ninth Mansion. When the elevator door opened and they walked out, they saw Yun Hongwei standing at the door with a worried expression. Yi Er panicked. Oh no, she had seen the marks on her face in the morning. They were no longer swollen, but there were still some marks. Yun Hongwei walked over quickly, but he didn't seem to care about them at all. The moment he arrived, he reprimanded them. If you two want to eat supper, then eat supper. Why did you fight with a hooligan? Yunyi, you're not young anymore. You should be clear about your status. Don't be like how you were in the past, stirring up trouble for no reason. You went out to eat supper in the middle of the night and even provoked little hooligans. You want Jiang Zhao to clean up your mess. Ye was stunned by the scolding. What? Fight with little hooligans? Jiang Zhao didn't dare to make a sound. He was afraid that he would say something wrong. Yun Hongwei looked at Ye's bruises on her face and her speechless expression. He was angry again. He glared at Ye and continued scolding her. If Fian hadn't come over to take Jiang Zhao's things, I wouldn't have known. You're not allowed to go out to eat supper in the future. Jiang Zhao is in politics. Damn it, how could he go to the police station? Don't you know your father-in-law's temper? If he's unhappy, he'll beat you up again. Yun Hongwei wasn't worried about Jiang Zhao and Ye because it wasn't their first day away from home. Young people like to be romantic and he didn't object, so he didn't care. He didn't expect to be frightened by Qin Fian. Qin Fian came over early in the morning with Jiang Liqing before the sun rose. Jiang Liqing was afraid that he would expose the matter as soon as he went upstairs. He couldn't control his temper, so he asked Qin Fian to go upstairs and check if Jiang Zhao and Ye didn't bring their phones. Qin Fian knew that he couldn't say too much, so he stammered to see Yun Hongwei's reaction. Yun Hongwei didn't think too much about it. He led Qin Fian into the house and said politely, Fian, Jiang Zhao and Ye went out to eat supper last night and haven't come back yet. They're probably staying outside. If you want to find Jiang Zhao, I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a while. Qin Fian's mind was working very fast at this moment. He thought about how Ye had beaten him last night and continued stammering. Hey Uncle Yun. What's wrong? Didn't my brother go out to eat supper with sister-in-law last night? Qin Fian glanced at Yun Hongwei. He looked like he wanted to say something but stopped. He was actually waiting for Yun Hongwei to reveal more information. Yun Hongwei knew that Qin Fian and Jiang Zhao had a good relationship and treated everyone well. Moreover, Qin Fian looked like he wanted to say something but didn't dare to. Yun Hongwei was worried sick. He thought that something big must have happened, so he asked anxiously, Did something happen? Last night, Ye wanted to eat supper, but Jiang Zhao said it was too late. She got angry and ran away. Jiang Zhao only put on a coat and chased after her. He said he would take her out to eat and hasn't come back yet. Uncle Yun. Qin Fian pulled Yun Hongwei into the living room. I'm going upstairs to my brother's room to get something. Something happened to him. Yun Hongwei asked anxiously. Qin Fian sighed. Didn't he take sister-in-law out for supper last night? Who knew that both of them would go to a roadside stall to eat? In the end, they met a few drunk hooligans who were flirting with my sister-in-law. How can my brother tolerate it? He got into a fight with them and he is still in the police station. Last night there were a few new policemen on duty. They refused to believe that my brother is the deputy mayor and refused to let her go. What? Yun Hongwei was so angry that he was speechless. This is outrageous. But Jiang Zhao was dressed like that yesterday. No one will believe him. Who would wear a coat during the winter? No one will believe that he would eat at a roadside stall. Qin Fian patted Yun Hongwei's back and started to threaten him. Uncle Yun, don't be anxious. You must not make a fuss about this. My eldest uncle is still angry and wants to get Ye out. Although it is easy for him to get Ye out, he still wants to save his face. If you throw a tantrum again, my eldest uncle will surely beat my brother up. You must bear with it. My brother is also trying to protect sister-in-law. That's why he got into a fight with those hooligans. Am I right? Yun Hongwei listened to Qin Fian's analysis. How can he lose his temper? I'm going to deliver some clothes to Jiang Zhao. Last night, I saw that he was only wearing a coat and nothing underneath. Don't. Qin Fian put his arm around Yun Hongwei's shoulder, pushed up his glasses and pushed him to sit on the sofa. Uncle Yun, you don't know my uncle-in-law's temper. Even if you are his in-laws, he still wants to save face. Now that he's in the police station looking for someone, if you go, he will definitely feel that he has lost all his face. He will definitely vent his anger on my brother. He will definitely say that my brother made him unable to straighten his back. He will feel that he has never bent his back in his life, you know? Don't take the clothes. My uncle-in-law will definitely throw them away when he sees them. He will definitely say, forget about the coldness of this wolf cub. Let's end this once and for all. Qin Fian went upstairs alone and entered Jiang Zhao's bedroom. He called both of their mobile phones and they were still in their pockets. After confirming that they did not bring their mobile phones with them, he went downstairs. As long as they did not deliberately ignore their family's calls, it meant that they were not so weak that they could not be dealt with. Yun Hongwei was basically frightened by Qin Fian. Until Qin Fian left, he was anxious and did not dare to go to the police station to take a look. Only after he left did he realize that he did not even ask which police station Qin Fian was locked up in. Jiang Zhao listened to Yun Hongwei's words. Little hooligan? Locked up in the police station? Good lord, Fian was really his biological brother. Now the wound on Yi Er's face had a source. He hugged Yi Er's shoulder. Dad, it won't happen again. Yi Er was very cooperative and stuck to Jiang Zhao's embrace without moving. Jiang Zhao smiled. Yun Hongwei stood in the same place. Go in, he said coldly. Jiang Zhao looked at Yun Hongwei's expression as he glared at Yi Er. There seemed to be a kind of anger in his expression. If it was any other time he would have to explain and protect his wife. But now that he was at a low point, Yi Er also had the intention to help him cover it up. And the purpose of covering it up was clear to him. Yun Hongwei wanted Yi Er to be happy, and Yi Er was also afraid that Yun Hongwei would be worried. It was not that he was heartless or unjust, but at this time he also had no other choice. Yi Er now had the intention to fight to the death with him. He had to think of a way not to move. He walked to the shoe cabinet and changed his shoes. He bent down and frowned painfully. A hard-to-suppress groan came out of his mouth. On the way back, Yi Er had told himself that he had to be more ruthless with him. After all, he had already been whipped and no one would continue to hit him. Leaving the wound would be good as a lesson for him. So when Jiang Zhao cried out in pain, Yi Er pretended not to see. He changed his shoes and went upstairs. Jiang Zhao knew that Yi Er would ignore him, so he was not surprised. But Yun Hongwei played right into his hands. He came over and asked, Jiang Zhao, what's wrong? Jiang Zhao said a little embarrassedly, Dad, it's nothing. After saying that, he straightened his back unnaturally. He purposely tried to separate his back from the material of his clothes. The large lapel in front of his chest exposed his chest. This looked really undignified and very comical. Yun Hongwei had always known that Jiang Zhao was a person who placed a lot of emphasis on appearance. The things in the house were placed very neatly and were very clearly categorized. There were some small drawers under the big tea machine in front of the sofa. What things were placed in each drawer was carefully categorized. The remote control was all placed together and could not be thrown around randomly. Although his clothes were not fashionable, he had always been meticulous. Today's messy and undignified appearance made Yun Hongwei a little worried. Is your back hurt? In Yun Hongwei's eyes, Jiang Zhao stooped and stood up with his back leaning back because he was afraid of touching his back. The wrinkles on his eyebrows couldn't be for no reason. Was it the little hooligan that Qin Fian mentioned? Or was it his in-law's whip? No. How could there be such a thing? Jiang Zhao deliberately made it look like he was panicking because he had been guessed correctly. Then he shuffled his slippers as if he was trying to escape quickly. Yun Hongwei was an elder. Jiang Zhao called him dad, and also cared for Yi Er very much. Yun Hongwei saw it all. His son-in-law was good to his daughter, so what more could he ask for? He was definitely satisfied with Jiang Zhao. At this moment he was dodging because he was afraid that he would worry. Jiang Zhao, take off your jacket. Yun Hongwei was unwilling to let Jiang Zhao go. Dad, why do I have to take off my jacket? It's so cold. The temperature in the house is constant. There's also floor heating. How can it be cold? Come and see. Xinwu 799. Chapter 635. After a long period of stalemate, Jiang Zhao reluctantly took off his jacket, revealing his perfect upper body that was firm and not too fat. Then, under Yun Hongwei's request, he reluctantly turned his back around, revealing his bloodied back to Yun Hongwei. When he heard Yun Hongwei running to the stairs in the hall, he shouted angrily upstairs, Yunyi, get down here. A sinister smile appeared on his face as if his plan had succeeded. Yun Hongwei rarely used the word, get lost, so he was furious. Jiang Zhao leisurely prepared to put on his clothes. Anyway, Yun Hongwei was the only one in the family who could control Yi Er, so he couldn't blame him for using Yun Hongwei against her. Who told her not to reconcile with him? Who told her to be so fierce? Who told her to say one thing and mean another? Who told him to want to reconcile with her? As soon as Yun Hongwei finished shouting, he turned around and saw Jiang Zhao about to put on his coat. He immediately stopped him. Jiang Zhao, what are you doing? Don't wear it. Look at your back. It's completely burnt. Your clothes are dirty. It'll get infected. Jiang Zhao said, oh. He snorted and said, I'm fine. He didn't even care about his wife. If it got infected, so be it. When Yi Er heard Yun Hongwei shouting for her so loudly, she immediately ran downstairs. To be honest, it was already past noon and she hadn't eaten yet. She was starving, but she didn't feel dizzy at all. It was really strange. When she ran downstairs and saw Jiang Zhao shirtless, she was stunned. After a moment of clarity, she said, "Jiang Zhao, what are you doing?" "Yin, go and take a look at your husband's back." Yun Hongwei was furious. He knew that Yi Er was throwing a tantrum and ignoring Jiang Zhao because she was unhappy about something. Did he waste his time talking to her? Even if she was throwing a tantrum, her husband, the pillar of the family, was severely whipped. How could she run upstairs like this? Jiang Zhao said embarrassedly, "Dad, I already said that it's fine." Yun Hongwei did not answer Jiang Zhao. Instead, he looked at Yi Er and said coldly, "Yun Yer, take Jiang Zhao to the hospital immediately. Otherwise he will be infected." When Yi Er saw Jiang Zhao's pitiful look, he got angry. Really, who didn't know how to act pitiful? She knew how to do it too. This was something she used to do often in the past. Besides, because of her today, his injuries were already very light. If he went to the hospital again, wouldn't he immediately be alive and kicking? Isn't it just 2 whips? It's not like it's 10 lashes. Just apply some medicine at home. Why do you need to go to the hospital? In fact, Jiang Zhao knew that the wound on his back had already split open. His back was soaked with sweat and there was the smell of blood. His father's whip was made of real leather and it was very tight. The 2 whips were also very heavy. Even though he was old now and his skin was thicker, he would still be seriously injured when the whips hit him. He was a man. 2 lashes was nothing to shout about. He didn't want to shout either, but if he didn't shout, the child wouldn't have milk to drink. "Yun Yer, don't you dare mock and ridicule me like this again." Yun Hongwei roared at Yi Er. Jiang Zhao didn't mind Yi Er's heartless words. She deserved to be vicious and he deserved to be scolded. If he were to get angry with her now, he would really be too much of a jerk. Jiang Zhao picked up his clothes. "It's fine. It's winter now. There's no such thing as an infection. It'll be fine once it dries and forms a scab." Yi Er had actually been avoiding looking at Jiang Zhao's wound. She would feel better if she didn't see it. Just like that time when the whips hit him, the wound immediately opened. Anyway, she could be ruthless if she didn't see it. When she saw it later, her heart would definitely soften. Just as she was about to turn around, Jiang Zhao's movements were faster than hers. He walked past her, leaving her with a sinister view of his back. His back was covered in blood. The wound was still wet. As it hadn't been treated, it rubbed against his clothes and didn't show any signs of drying. She cursed in her heart. "You're ruthless, Yer." Yun Hongwei sent Jiang Zhao to the hospital. If it were any other time, Yun Hongwei wouldn't have followed, but now he was worried. He was worried that his daughter wouldn't be considerate of her husband. He had to keep an eye on him. Where else could he find such a good son-in-law? The doctor kept muttering, "Oh my God, this wound is really too scary." The doctor said that if he found it troublesome, he could come to the hospital every day to change his dressing. In the end, Jiang Zhao took some medicine home. He said to Yun Hongwei, "It's better to take the medicine home. It's convenient to have a mirror at home anyway. It's a waste of time to go to the hospital." Yun Hongwei glared at Yi Er. "Remember to change Jiang Zhao's dressing every day." Jiang Zhao turned his face away and pretended not to see Yi Er's eyes that looked like he wanted to eat him up. The 2 of them didn't eat. They found a restaurant to eat and then went home. When they got home, Jiang Zhao was chased to another room by Yi Er. "Call me when it's time to change his dressing," Yi Er said and closed the door for Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao smiled. Anyway, he didn't have to move now. His father-in-law would keep an eye on him. As long as he didn't say that he had to go on a business trip, Yi Er couldn't do anything to him. It was easier to do things when you had the cards in your hands. Therefore, having an elder at home was like having a treasure. This was definitely a wise saying. Jiang Zhao didn't pester Yi Er. Yi Er could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He was too tired and wanted to sleep. Jiang Zhao lay on the bed and twirled his phone between his fingers. After playing with it for a while, he swiped open the interface and found Zhuang Yichen's number. He dialed it. Zhuang Yichen was at Xingchen Building. After an emergency meeting, the door to the conference room was pushed open. Li Yong, who was in his 40s, walked over with Zhuang Yichen's phone and handed it to him. "Young master, there's a call." Between his steps, there was a heavy and powerful aura. A man like this could only be looked at and not touched. This was because although a man who didn't smile was cool, he was also very fierce. Dozens of secretaries who wanted to flirt with him had been replaced. Now that the atmosphere in the office was good, not many people were willing to risk losing their jobs to give hearts to this cold man. Zhuang Yichen held the phone but didn't pick it up. He walked straight to the CEO's office. Li Yong opened the door for him. Zhuang Yichen said in a rare and amiable tone, "Uncle Li, please close the door for me." In the whole of Xingqian, only Li Yong had such treatment. Li Yong basically knew everything about Zhuang Yichen, including his private matters. Li Yong nodded and waited for Zhuang Yichen to enter the office before closing the door. Zhuang Yichen picked up the phone and sat down in his office chair. The cold air dissipated a lot. "Brother Zhao, you're not working today?" Jiang Zhao sat up from the bed and raised his handsome eyebrows slightly. The wound on his back was slightly pulled, but he didn't care. He didn't panic at Zhuang Yichen's straightforward question. After raising his handsome eyebrows, he slightly lowered them. When his eyes darkened, he slightly narrowed his eyes and a faint evil aura overflowed. It seemed that Zhuang Yichen had also heard about it. The family Ouyang was really capable. He seemed to be amiable. "Ha, you know that too." Zhuang Yichen laughed twice. As the saying goes, good things don't leave the house, but bad things spread far and wide. But I don't think a romantic history is a bad thing. Am I right? Jiang Zhao touched his eyebrows and said in a casual tone, "Yes, I think so too. For example, the day before yesterday I found out about a very interesting romantic history from Yunyi. It happened the day before yesterday. It was too shocking." Zhuang Yichen knew that Jiang Zhao was trying to provoke him. It was the same last time, so he didn't want to fall into his trap. The day before yesterday? Was it about Qiu Xiaoya again? It seemed that this woman was living too comfortably. "Ha, only you would listen to a woman's words so enthusiastically." "Haha, interesting words. It sounds quite interesting. But you won't be interested in knowing, so I won't talk about it with you." Jiang Zhao knew that he had successfully tickled Zhuang Yichen, so he stopped the topic and said, "Since you know, I won't beat around the bush with you. You know that Ouyang Sheng has 3 underground casinos, right?" Zhuang Yichen sat in his sunny office. The business behind his back was not much cleaner. So in Haiqing's social circle, there were many wealthy families who appeared to be clean on the surface but were secretly involved in shady businesses like him. He found out about last night's incident early in the morning. Family Ouyang had servants with big mouths, so the secrets of wealthy families spread very quickly. "I know. Haha, you're not going to admit it after eating, right?" "Yes, I'm a pervert," Jiang Zhao said without a hint of guilt. Besides, he really didn't feel that he was a pervert. "Brother Zhao, that's not very kind. Actually, it just shows that you're not a good person. Other people can have a wife at home and a concubine outside. Tell me, why didn't you implement this policy properly?" "I'm old, so I can't learn from you young people. I have to deal with both my ex and the current one. How can I have the energy to do that?" Zhuang Yichen's face darkened. How could he not understand Jiang Zhao's meaning? "You really don't have the energy now. Tell me, where do you want to put your energy?" "Ouyang Sheng has 2 underground casinos in Haiqing. You know that?" "Yes, I know." Zhuang Yichen thought to himself, "In this life you can mess with anyone but Jiang Zhao. Whatever you do, don't let him know. Otherwise, if he's unhappy one day, he'll definitely destroy your nest." "How's the business of your casinos?" Jiang Zhao asked calmly. "Thanks to you, I can make a living." Zhuang Yichen laughed dryly. Jiang Zhao was always like this. He could have asked, "What's the benefit?" But instead he used words to shut him up. Jiang Zhao asked, "How many people are selling firecrackers in your place?" In written language, firecrackers are called loan sharks. "I don't care. My subordinates are. If he were to take care of the loan sharks, he wouldn't have to do anything else. Then tell the manager tonight to let the firecrackers bring some of your guests to Ouyang Sheng's place to gamble. His nephew is in charge of the casino in the west corner. As long as you see him there, make some trouble. Remember, you must only make trouble when his nephew is there. That guy is timid and can't take it. He's just an embroidered pillow. Haha, Brother Zhao, if my men go in, you have to get them out. I don't believe that people can keep their mouths shut these days." Although Zhuang Yichen knew that there was a risk, he believed that Jiang Zhao had the ability. They had been in a difficult situation for many years, so they were confident. "Yes, I know. I'll make the arrangements." Zhuang Yichen listened to the phone and nodded. He asked again, "Since you know where his casino is, why don't you just destroy it and show him who's boss? Don't tell me you only want to expose his nephew and damage his reputation a little?" He didn't believe that Jiang Zhao was someone who would go easy on him. "What do you mean by showing him who's boss?" Chapter 636. Don't be so scheming. If you're so cruel, I'll be scared to be in the same boat as you. You're really calculating. Once something happens to the family Ouyang, if the family Ouyang breaches the contract and can't participate, the Zhuo family will get all the benefits. After Zhuang Yichen finished speaking, he laughed out loud. Hey brother Zhao, perhaps we are related by blood. Maybe we are related by blood. When will you help me get rid of my business partners like this? Jiang Zhao stretched his neck and stretched. Now that you mention it, I think so too. Maybe you were the same family 500 years ago. Look at the few big underground casinos in Haiqing now. Which one of them isn't full? If Ouyang Sheng's 2 casinos collapse, you'll take over his bets. How much more money will you have to make? Aren't I helping you? Ah. Zhuang Yichen lifted his legs and rested them on the desk. He leaned lazily against the office chair and smiled. That's why I said we're brothers, haha. Yi Er wanted to sleep, but he couldn't fall asleep because of the laughter coming from Jiang Zhao's room. How could he still laugh? How could he still have the cheek to laugh? It was annoying to hear him laugh. She called Qiu Xiaoye and asked if the shop opposite Ye had been sold out. At that time she had used the money from selling her house to bribe Jiang Zhao, but later she had sold her body. Jiang Zhao had returned her bank card, which was a large sum of money. She had to think of a way to start a business. Sometimes when she thought about it, Xiaoye was really enviable. She had such a high income. She always felt that it was good to keep some money. No matter how many cards Jiang Zhao gave her, she still saved up the money from selling the house. Ever since she got together with Jiang Zhao, she hadn't thought of using this money. After all, there were too many unstable factors. But now that she wanted to separate and had a plan, it was better not to spend his money. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to explain herself. Xiaoye said, "No, I didn't. I want to take a look yesterday. If you don't want it, I want to take it down and open a restaurant." You're also interested in catering? Xiaoye raised her eyebrows proudly. My grandfather used to be a chef, okay? Of course I'm interested. My cooking shouldn't be worse than yours. Then your brother Zhuang is in for a treat. Xiaoye was stunned for 2 seconds. He doesn't like it. They had never eaten together at home and had only eaten a few meals outside. He did not know that she knew how to cook. Then cook it for me in Chen Chen another day. I want to eat it ready-made. As long as Jiang Zhao was in the house, she was the one who cooked. She was also picky. The food made by the auntie did not taste good. If someone made delicious food for her, she would be more than happy. I want to collect money. Xiaoye said. Did you make money? Xiaoye clenched her little fists and said confidently, of course. Making money is my brightest goal in life. Making money is the happiest thing in my life. Okay. Boss Chiu, you'll definitely be a big entrepreneur in the future. How about this? I'll look for you tomorrow. You know a lot. Help me take a look at the shop and give me some advice. Okay, it's free. Just treat me to a meal at Sea Moon Restaurant. You're so generous. Jiang Zhao hung up the phone. He could only lie down to rest. He was not used to sleeping like this. Thus, he held his phone in his hand and scrolled through the photos. When he saw Yi Er's side profile, he was very satisfied. He typed a message and sent it to Yi Er. Honey, when are we going to take a set of wedding photos? Jiang Zhao kept staring at the screen until he almost fell asleep, but he did not receive a reply. God, they were living under the same roof and she was already so arrogant. What if she was still like this when she went to class or opened the shop? Wouldn't he be worried sick if she didn't answer his calls or reply to his messages all day long? He got out of bed and opened the door. Their room was at the end of the right, so it was only a few steps away. He gently turned the lock. It was not locked from the inside. A crack slowly opened. The woman on the bed was sleeping very soundly. After a day and night of torment, it was hard not to be tired. He took off his slippers, climbed onto the bed and lay down beside her. He snuggled closer to her, but it was not enough. He put his arm around her waist. It was more comfortable hugging her, so he snuggled closer. Then both of their breaths began to even out. In the family Ouyang's old mansion, Ouyang Yen had been sitting at the top of the stairs ever since the Qin and Jiang families left. Ouyang Sheng was anxious, but it was useless. Yun, don't keep quiet. Say it. Yun, tell Grandpa what you want. Grandpa will satisfy you. What do you want to do? Eat something? Ouyang Yen slowly raised his head. His face was bruised and his eyes were red and swollen. Tears rolled out of his eyes. His voice was cold, and when he gritted his teeth he said viciously, Grandpa, I want Yunyi to die a horrible death. I want her to die a horrible death. No, I don't want her to die. I want her to live a life worse than death. I want her family to be destroyed and she will be betrayed by everyone. She will not have a good ending. Ouyang Sheng was bent over to comfort his granddaughter. At this moment he slowly stood up straight. His eyes were cold as snow and he nodded. Go eat. Grandpa agrees. When Yi Er woke up and found Jiang Zhao sleeping with her, she was furious. When she sat up, she scolded, Jiang Zhao, how can you be so shameless? I didn't want to sleep here. I came over to ask you to help me look at my back. You pulled me to sleep next to you in a daze. I thought you missed me. After Jiang Zhao finished speaking, he calmly got out of bed, then went out the door and returned to his room. Yi was so angry that her blood pressure shot up. Was it because she was old that she couldn't take it? Although Grandma Bai told Jiang Zhao that she wouldn't let them stay for dinner, it seemed that she didn't want to see him. But after dinner, Jiang Rui and Xiang Wan still carried Mian Mian and brought some toys to number 9 mansion. Yi served them tea. Jiang Rui and Jiang Zhao went to the study. Yi, Xiang Wan and Mian Mian played games in the living room. A pile of building blocks was on the ground, and the 3 of them sat around the building blocks. It was very comfortable to sit on the ground in a house with floor heating. Xiang Wan praised Yi for being able to make children happy. It was really rare. Yi put the building blocks in front of Mian Mian and said, "Because I have a younger brother at home. I've been playing with him since young. For the past 2 years I've been taking care of him, so it's not a problem to make children happy." Xiang Wan took out the building blocks under Mian Mian's butt and threw them in front of him. Without looking at Yi, she said, "Yi, I heard from Grandma about what happened yesterday. Jiang Zhao must have been set up." Yi's hands paused for a moment. "Sister-in-law, if Big Brother gave his house to his ex-girlfriend, and you still brought him home in the middle of the night from his ex-girlfriend's house and caught him in bed again, would you believe that he's innocent?" Xiang Wan looked up and saw the tears in Yi's eyes. She couldn't bear to see him like this. "I heard from Fian that you're getting a divorce. Fian only told your brother and me. He didn't tell the elders at home. You know, the elders at home are all old. Grandma didn't even come to your engagement party. She doesn't like to take a plane, but she came this time." Yi lowered her head. The elders couldn't be angry. She knew, Mian Mian had put all the building blocks on the ground. Xiang Wan said, "Darling, let's take another train." Then she continued to talk to Yi. Fian said that he believes Jiang Zhao. But from what I see, Jiang Zhao is in the wrong. He didn't draw a clear line between himself and his ex-girlfriend, which led to this outcome. When Yi heard Xiang Wan's consolation, the grievances in her heart finally came out. Someone could understand her. Finally, someone spoke up for her. She took a deep breath to stop her tears from falling. Xiang Wan saw that Yi's emotions were released and patted her shoulder. "Today I've talked to Jiang Rui about this. Jiang Rui also had an ex-girlfriend who came to pester him. But when I was with him, he also went to have a meal with his ex-girlfriend. I also bumped into them." Yi looked at Xiang Wan with a shocked expression. Was this the fate of a rich man's wife? But Xiang Wan said, "But after I made a fuss, they didn't contact each other anymore." Yi lamented that she had a bad life. Xiang Wan changed the topic and looked at Yi with a gentle gaze. "But Yi, Jiang Zhao's situation is different. His ex-girlfriend's situation is also different. Although Jiang Zhao's ex-girlfriend started dating when he was in university, there was no conflict of interest between their families. Once they broke up, they didn't contact each other at all. But Jiang Zhao's ex-girlfriend is different. The family Ouyang is so powerful in Haiqing and has been working closely with the Qin and Zhuo families for many years. Jiang Zhao wouldn't be as heartless as Jiang Zhao when dealing with this issue. Jiang Rui told me that with Jiang Zhao's character, if he really loved you, he wouldn't have married you. With the Qin family's means, even if you threatened him in public, it wouldn't work. Jiang Zhao has deep feelings for you. Otherwise, why would he marry you after being single for so many years? There are so many women in Haiqing who want to marry him. As for that girl from the Zheng family, Grandma always said that she used all kinds of means to get him. Only after Jiang Zhao got married did she stop." Yi listened to Xiang Wan's words and thought about how Jiang Zhao said that he would never forget the time when she said that she wanted to marry him. "Sister-in-law, I understand what you're saying, but..." Xiang Wan smiled. "I didn't ask you to forgive him. Men should suffer a little. Let's see if he still dares to do that in the future." Yi lowered his head and held his forehead. His voice was weak. "I feel that we won't have a future. Sister-in-law, you won't be able to understand this feeling." Xiang Wan knew that she couldn't confide in Yi anymore. She straightened her back and patted Yi's dispirited shoulder. "Then let's just ignore him. Let's eat and sleep. We can't let ourselves suffer because of a man, right? Sister-in-law will support you if you get a divorce. What's so good about this kind of man? He doesn't have any good points. We should get a divorce. We're so young and beautiful, why can't we find someone better than him? Who does Jiang Zhao think he is? He's an arrogant person. When I look at him, I feel that other than his good looks, he's also fierce and cold, as if he's from the mafia. He's definitely a domestic abuser. How much money can a lousy mayor have? He can't even live a good life. What's the use of him? Let me tell you, he's a very realistic person. He's always scheming against Jiang Rui. He's definitely a miser. He's definitely calculative in everything he does. Men shouldn't be with such calculative people. Even if he does something for you, he'll calculate the returns. It's so boring to live with such a man. I'm so angry. Welfare Xingwu 799. Chapter 637. Ye looked at Xiang Wan in surprise. Was his sister-in-law pretending to change her expression? She was still being gentle and soft just a moment ago, but now she was talking about Jiang Zhao. Why did she become so aggressive? His sister-in-law was quite pretty. Her eyes were bright, her skin was fair and smooth, and her long hair was tied behind her neck. She was such a gentle and beautiful woman. She would be a good match for a handsome man like Jiang Rui. But why did she have no self-restraint when she spoke? Xiang Wan saw the change in Ye's eyes and knew that Ye was starting to feel conflicted. Since her goal had been achieved, she continued to persuade him. Let's not bother about Jiang Zhao or Jiang Zhao anymore. There are a lot of rich young masters like him in Haiqing. These guys rely on their family background to do evil. They don't uphold justice, have no sense of responsibility, and don't know how to be grateful. They treat women like clothes, sleep with them one day and throw them away the next. They're so arrogant that they don't treat women as human beings. When they're old, they drive expensive cars everywhere to pick up girls. Once they leave their families, they immediately turn into prostitutes. Divorce, let's divorce tomorrow. When we go out tomorrow, let's find someone better than him and make him vomit blood. Ye didn't dare to reply to Xiang Wan. After hearing what she said, Ye instantly felt that Jiang Zhao was the most perfect man in Haiqing, in the study room. Under the influence of old Master Jiang and Qin Rongfeng, Jiang Zhao didn't like coffee. Therefore, the living room and study room were equipped with a tea table and various tea sets. Although he liked tea, he didn't like the antique style of the elderly. The coffee-colored leather sofa also didn't look out of place. The two men sat opposite each other with the tea table in between. Jiang Rui slowly brewed the tea, and Jiang Zhao seemed to be extremely annoyed as he smoked. Jiang Zhao, Grandpa and Grandpa Qin mean that it's easy to make enemies. Don't mess with your family Ouyang in private. We all know that you've been set up. If you think about it, you'll be able to connect the dots. Explain it to your sister-in-law. She'll listen. Jiang Zhao pressed the cigarette into the crystal ashtray. A wisp of green smoke rose from the gray ash, but his hand kept pressing on the cigarette but in the ashtray. He repeatedly and forcefully rubbed out the ginger tobacco and the long filter, exposing the cotton inside. Staring at the tobacco and ash in the ashtray, Jiang Zhao said gloomily, "Big brother, I understand what you're saying. I also know that I've been set up. I explained to Yunyi, but she couldn't accept it and didn't want to listen to me." Jiang Zhao sighed almost inaudibly. "Actually, for this matter, from your point of view, it's enough to explain it. As long as you explain it clearly and analyze it, it'll be fine. As long as you explain it clearly, it'll be fine. But, you haven't thought about it from Yunye's point of view." "I have." "At that time, she said that she would also find a man to sleep with and asked me to accept it. If so, she wouldn't divorce me. When I heard this, I was completely stunned. I just thought of that scene. Without any cause or effect, I picked her up from another man's bed. Just thinking about that scene, I can't think of the cause and effect. No explanation can be useful in this mood. For this kind of thing, no one can put themselves in her place. No one can think from her point of view. Only I can. Because we are husband and wife, when we think from her point of view, there will be the so-called your pain. I'm touched by it. Yunyi doesn't want to listen to my explanation now. She doesn't even want to talk to me. I can understand her repulsion and disgust. In fact, I know what you're trying to persuade me. We can't touch the family Ouyang now. Grandpa told me a long time ago that the power field in High City is like a magnetic field. You can't break its balance at will." When Jiang Zhao raised his head, they looked at each other. The two shrewd and strong men each had their own thoughts. When Jiang Zhao said such words, Jiang Rui was deeply touched. He took a sip of tea and said, "You're right. My way of persuading you is very inappropriate. When you got married, I said that based on my understanding of you, if you don't want to marry someone, it's useless even if you put a knife to your neck. In fact, I was right, right? It's a kind of luck and a blessing that a husband and wife can be together when they have a good relationship." Fian also told me the details of what happened last night. I also saw how sister-in-law protected you today. The two of you have such a good relationship. You shouldn't separate because of some external forces. But now that it has happened, you have to deal with it calmly. You have always been a calm person. I hope you won't be too anxious and impulsive. Jiang Rui also knew that Jiang Zhao was a very vengeful person. Of course, except for Jiang Ji, who was more tolerant, the rest of the Jiang family should be vengeful. Jiang Zhao touched the tip of his nose and looked at Jiang Rui. Brother, I'll tell you frankly. Now for the old people, I will tell them that the family Ouyang schemed against me. I don't care about it. I just don't want to have any contact with them anymore. I think it's okay to lie to them and let them be at ease. It's okay. When Jiang Zhao paused, his eyes suddenly became fierce. But Ouyang Sheng made my family Ouyang so upset. I can't just let it go. If Yun Yi can live peacefully for a while, I'm still in the mood to let it go. But if Yun Yi has to divorce me because of this matter, even if all the people in the Jiang, Qin and Zhuo families oppose me against the family Ouyang, I won't let him go. Jiang Rui laughed. I'm not surprised that you have such thoughts. If you can bear it, I won't miss you. Don't say it as if you know me very well. Jiang Zhao also laughed suddenly. By the way, didn't Ouyang Sheng want to set up a 7-star hotel with you since the year before last? He has no experience in hotels. Why don't you ask him to pay for it? Jiang Rui naturally knew that when Jiang Zhao said to pay for it, Ouyang Sheng probably couldn't get the money. Ah, Jiang Zhao, I'm here to persuade you not to make trouble. You're pushing me into the pit again. Besides, it's very difficult to cheat that old guy of his money. What's so difficult about it? Our family has the strongest political relationship between Jiangzhou and Hai City. It's easy to get the approval. With the approval, I'm afraid that he will be so happy that he will forget everything. Jiang Rui nodded slowly and said, then the plan is well thought out. Let's discuss it. I'm also very uncomfortable that Grandma is here this time. Okay. When you take his money, you have to give half of it to me. Jiang Zhao seemed to be in a better mood. He rolled up his sleeves and began to drink tea. You want me to do the hard work and you want to share the money? What are you dreaming about? There's no hard work. I helped you find a shareholder who doesn't want dividends in your 7-star hotel. I have to sort out the layers of relationships in the middle. I should be the one doing the hard work. Come on. You just want to vent your anger. Jiang Rui was worried. The family Ouyang's money will rise even if we lose this part. By then there will be a lot of trouble. Don't worry. I'll make him unable to rise. Don't be too cruel. After all, we're family friends. He was heartless first. You can't blame me. Jiang Zhao stretched his neck and said, Brother, it's enough that we know about this. Don't let the ancestors of the family know about it. Jiang Rui said, You don't have to teach me. Anyway, you just have to handle it well. Don't let others think that the Jiang family is deliberately scheming against the family Ouyang. Business needs to be open and above board, right? Yes. We are all people who do proper business. Jiang Zhao picked up the small teacup and drank it. He found that his taste buds were sensitive. The tea had become more fragrant today. Hai City was a brightly lit city. On the surface, it was bright and prosperous, but in many inconspicuous corners, there were dark and sinister forces. West Corner Village was an urban-rural junction on the edge of Hai City. The buildings built by the local villagers were basically rented out. The rent was cheap, so many outsiders gathered here. There were all kinds of people and the public security was relatively chaotic. It was also such a place where outsiders came in and out, and where there was a large flow of people, but some forbidden places could develop steadily. The largest underground casino in West Corner was in this village that looked dirty and messy. A white, old commercial van with a long license plate had its windows covered with cellophane that couldn't be seen through. When it passed by the bridge and drove to the south gate, the bearded man and the scarred nose each held a few black towels in their hands. The scarred nose said politely to the men and women in the back seat of the van, Bosses, according to the rules, you have to cover your eyes. I'm sorry. They all nodded and said, It's not the first time we came out to play. How can we not know the rules? Let's do it according to the rules. Okay. The driver drove seriously. The bearded man and the scarred nose covered the eyes of the people in the van who were going to gamble at a new place. After the car went down from the bridge, it went straight to the south gate, but now it was going north. After a junction, there was a big turntable at the crossroads. The van drove around the turntable twice and then went south. At the second traffic light, it turned left. After going straight, it turned back again. There was a piece of land that had just been bought. It was still barren and there were bricks and small mounds everywhere. Tall weeds grew everywhere and it was very messy. When the van drove in, it was as bumpy as an off-road vehicle in a drag race. Everyone was wearing their seatbelts. Some were very calm as if this was not a rare situation, but some were very uneasy and their hands were shaking. The bearded man comforted them. Bosses, don't worry. Although this road is not easy to walk and it's a little far, we'll be there in a while. It's okay, a burly man replied calmly with a smile. The van went around in circles and arrived at West Corner Village. The few people who were covered by the cloth only knew that after a bumpy ride, they were brought out of the van with their bags of cash. They could not remove the cloth, so they had to be supported by others as they walked. The road was not smooth and they would occasionally go down a few steps, then go up again after a while. They did not know how long they had been walking. In the end, they heard noises that were getting louder and louder. Some people were shouting, some were shouting, and the dice in the dice cup were colliding violently. When they pulled the cloth away, the few of them saw a scene that made their blood boil. Although the decoration of this place was not high-end, it had all the essentials. They could play poker, pai gow, big and small, mahjong, ñoño. They were so excited that they clenched the bag of cash in their hands tightly. The bearded man and the scarred nose said to the few customers, "Bosses, go and play. I wish you a small capital and a big profit." "Thank you for your kind words." The few of them were eager to give it a try. "We'll go over first." The bearded man said, "Scar, go to the lobby and take a look. See if Mudfish and the others are playing here today. After you greet him, you have to ask around." "Okay." The scarred nose carried the money from the firecrackers and wandered around the casino as if he was looking for business. At this moment, a thin and small man walked over. "Yo, Scar." Mudfish. Beauty novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 638. "You guys are also shooting cannons at this place today?" "Yeah, I heard that business here is good. The people who come here are all big bosses. Money comes back quickly." Scarface put his arm around Loach's shoulder. "You've made a fortune recently, haven't you?" Loach spat. "What fortune?" "I let out a sum of money last month." "Damn it, the person went overseas." "Damn it, the boss is angry." "Your boss isn't here often. Collect the rest of the money to make up for it." Loach shook his head. "He's been here all this time and the amount isn't small. It's not something that can be made up just like that. The boss said that he's going to send people overseas to chase after him. You haven't been here for a long time. I thought you've made a fortune and changed to the right path." Scarface knew what was going on. "What right path? You just like to go out in the middle of the night. Which right path doesn't work at this time? Besides, no matter what you do, you can't make money as fast as us, right?" "Haha, yes. He asked Loach if there were any customers with good reputations who could pay back the money and introduce them. Loach generously introduced a few bosses to Scarface. An hour later, a commotion broke out in the casino. A burly man jumped onto the poker table, pointed at the dealer and scolded, "Damn it! Cheating." He pointed at the man opposite him. "You guys are in cahoots. *CK. You're bullying me, aren't you? Calm down. Who's cheating?" The burly man in charge pushed the crowd aside. The burly man stepped on the table and rushed to the cards that the dealer was about to give to the man opposite him. He pressed down on the dealer's card dealer and flipped the cards on the table. Then he flipped the cards in front of the dealer and drew. "Everyone. Is this *King cheating? There are 5 aces in a deck of cards." The casino suddenly became noisy. Just now, the man opposite them was winning the poker table. The people at the table were upset when they lost. Now that they looked at their cards, wasn't it obvious? Was a cheat. Those who came to gamble in this kind of place were not super rich, but they were worth millions or tens of millions. When they caused trouble, they were more impressive. No one knew who started it, but the poker table started to fight. For a moment, blood was flowing out of their heads. Gradually, there were cases of cheating in 3 places. When a cheater's finger was chopped off and he screamed, the casino was in chaos. Some people spread out in all directions and began to look for an exit. Someone came out with a knife to threaten them, but it was unknown who pushed them from behind and stabbed one of them. Blood splattered. After a sigh, there were screams. The bearded man slowly walked toward He Ping. Cell phones were not allowed in the venue, so they could not contact the outside world. However, Zhuang Yichen had said that time was the limit. If he could not confirm that He Ping was inside, he should give the money to his men and leave first. If he knows He Ping is inside, he will stay for a longer time. Zhuang Yichen lay on the sofa, stroking the big golden retriever's neck with one hand and looking at the time on his wrist with the other. He picked up his phone and called Jiang Zhao's personal phone. He scratched the golden retriever's neck and said lazily, Brother Zhao, the dishes are ready. Why aren't you serving them? Jiang Zhao said he got it. After hanging up, he called the Western District Police Station's captain. Captain Wen, I am afraid you will need to replace the word team with station soon. You better hurry up. Everything is ready. We are just waiting for your order. Usually, Captain Wen didn't dare to touch these underground casinos because they were protected by the director. One must know that an underground casino had to support many of his superiors' mistresses. However, the situation was different now. Since Mayor Jiang gave him the clue, the person behind him was the mayor. He had to be promoted even if he did not want to. Captain Wen, what are you talking about? When did I give any order? Jiang Zhao asked with confusion. Captain Wen suddenly regretted his rashness. At this time he could not drag Mayor Jiang down. He wanted to be the station chief and go to the Municipal Public Security Bureau in the future. He did not even know the rules of the officialdom. So he said immediately, Boss, I have to carry out my task now. I can't chat with you. I will visit you another day. Go ahead. Jiang Zhao smiled and hung up the phone. Looking at Jiang Zhao hanging up the phone, he sighed, Jiang Zhao, you must hide it well. If you are so bad, who dares to mess with you in the future? Ah. Jiang Zhao traced the thin edge of the teacup with his finger and said with a smile, if people don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. If they mess with me. When he tilted his head and looked at Jiang Rui, his eyes were deep, but there was a trace of ruthlessness in his smile. I will definitely mess with them. Ouyang Xing made his home not feel like home anymore. He also wanted to let him know what it was like to be in a mess at home. 20 minutes later, a piece of breaking news was broadcasted on the radio. An underground casino in West Corner Village had surfaced, and there were hundreds of millions of yuan worth of gambling money. His henchmen had testified on the spot that the person in charge of the casino was Haiqing's fourth master, Ouyang Xing's nephew, He Ping. The Western District sent out the police immediately. The media arrived at the scene almost immediately, and the video was released to the public immediately. On the television, He Ping was being held back by the police. There were bundles of red RMB. The small ones were 10,000 renminbi each, and many of them were 100,000 renminbi bricks that were taken out from the bank. The 2 poker cards were not enough to hold them all, and they were piled up like a mountain. Scattered 100 yuan bills could be seen everywhere on the ground. There was no time to deal with it, help, or rescue. The news that the fourth master's nephew opened an underground casino immediately spread throughout Haiqing. The family Ouyang made a scene yesterday, and the lights were shining until dawn. Today there was another big scene. Ouyang Xing was caught off guard. His sister Ouyang Yu was kneeling in the living room. She had already fainted from crying and woke up again. When she woke up, she sat on the ground and leaned against the sofa, wailing, Brother, you can't just leave him to die. He Ping was arrested this time. With such a large amount of money, I'm afraid he's done for. I only have one son and we depend on each other for survival, brother. What are you making a scene for? Didn't the news just come out? You're just a woman's view. Ouyang Xing shouted at Ouyang Yu, but he was also anxious. He was so worried that he had blisters at the corners of his mouth. The casino was doing well. He had made connections with all the people he could. He spent a lot of money to maintain the local police station, and he had also made connections with the higher-ups. Regardless of whether the casino was in a financial crisis or not, the casino could still make money. Therefore, under any circumstances, he had never thought of giving up on that lucrative business. Now, not only was the casino destroyed, even his nephew was locked up. The way the media reported it, it was obvious that they did not give him any face. However, the outside world did not know that he had a casino. Even his family friends did not know about his business. Who was the one behind his back doing this? Ouyang Yu got up from the ground. Her hair was already in a mess. Brother, let's look for someone. He Ping has never suffered before. What if he was beaten up in there? Ouyang Xing's face suddenly turned cold. He turned sideways and shouted, That's my nephew Ouyang Xing. Who dares to lay a finger on him? I want to see who has the guts to do so. Ouyang Yu nodded. Brother, let's go and take a look. I'm worried. Jiang Zhao lay in the small room and watched the replay on the TV. He still felt angry, so he took out his phone and called Captain Wen. Captain Wen, I'm calling to congratulate you for handling such a big case. Your future is bright. Captain Wen was happy to please him. Boss, I'm busy at the moment. Okay, go ahead. But when the time comes, we'll see if there's any merit. Jiang Zhao hinted that he wanted someone to confess. I'll do a good job with this case. Hence, from time to time in the interrogation room, there was the sound of a man screaming in pain. There was also someone who asked calmly, "Tell me, who's the boss behind this? Tell us clearly. We've been monitoring this place for a long time. If you don't tell us the truth, you'll suffer. Let me tell you, if you dare to lay a finger on me, my uncle won't let you off. Just you wait." Yiping was tied to the chair behind his back. At this moment he was suddenly kicked to the ground. His nose was bleeding, his teeth were bleeding, and the wounds on his skin were also bleeding. He could not continue with his threats. He could only cry out, "We're waiting. We'll record everything you say. If anything happens to us one day, the first suspect will be your uncle." Yiping looked like a sturdy man with a beard, but he was actually timid. At first he wanted to take the blame, but now he felt that there was no hope. He was arranged by Ouyang Xing to work in a place like the casino where he could earn a lot of money every day. Everyone gave Ouyang Xing face and treated him well. He was always the one who hit others. When had others ever hit him? Those who took the statement and questioned him were all as fierce as the king of hell. They laughed and laughed, kicked, punched and slapped him twice. He could not stand it anymore. Ouyang Xing led Ouyang Yu into the car. Ouyang Xing was calm and composed. The title of fourth master was well known in Haiqing. Everyone gave him face, so his calmness made Ouyang Yu feel much more relaxed. Ouyang Yu knew that there would be some risks in entering the casino. However, her son had been in the casino for so many years and had never gotten into trouble. It must be her brother's credit. Since her brother was so calm, she had nothing to be afraid of. When Ouyang Xing got out of the car, he patted his clothes in a very imposing manner. Ouyang Yu walked over and tidied her hair. She hooked her arm around Ouyang Xing's arm and entered the casino together. When they found the director's office, they did not see him. After asking, they found out that he was on a business trip. Moreover, he had only left in the afternoon. He had been transferred to the countryside at the last minute. Ouyang Xing increasingly felt that this was a well-planned conspiracy, but he did not know where the problem lay. Where's the deputy director? The deputy director is also on a business trip. Answer their calls. Their business trip this time is a confidential mission. Their phones have to be switched off. I can't get through. Ouyang Xing's expression became uglier and uglier. He was so angry that he asked loudly, "Where's the captain?" The police officer did not feel any pressure. He deliberately kept Ouyang Xing in suspense and said slowly, "In the interrogation room, but no visitors." Awesome novel Shinwu 799. Chapter 639. What? Ouyang Xing grabbed the officer's collar. "How dare you talk to me like this? Old Mr. Ouyang, is this considered assaulting a police officer?" The officer remembered Captain Wen had told him not to give face to anyone who came to make trouble, including Ouyang Xing. Assault, police? Ouyang Xing's face was filled with shock and astonishment. Ouyang Xing was very timid, and Yiping had inherited her personality. He pulled Ouyang Xing's arm. "Brother, let's think of other ways. Assaulting a police officer will get us into trouble." Ouyang Xing swung his arm. "Get lost. Why should I be afraid of trouble?" The officer was young and had good stamina. He was not easy to be tripped by others. Moreover, he had enough of these rich people's arrogance. He wanted to make Feng Yu angry. Captain Wen had told him not to give face to him. That means there were more influential people supporting this case. What should he be afraid of? Feng Yu leaned back. He pointed to the corner of the wall above his head and smirked. "You're right. Stop. CCTV. You are holding on to me like this. If I fall, it will be considered as assaulting a police officer. I want to see how it goes." Ouyang Xing pushed the police officer. The police officer fell backward and fell on the chair. Then he immediately fell to the ground. He covered his stomach and curled into a ball on the ground like a cooked shrimp. Soon there was a commotion in the police station. Someone was assaulting a police officer. Jiang Zhao had been thinking about this and did not leave the room. When he received a call from Captain Wen, he opened the door. "Boss, Ouyang Xing really came to the station and assaulted a police officer. How should we handle this? Do you have evidence?" "Yes, we have CCTV footage." "Is it a real assault?" Jiang Zhao asked cautiously. "From the CCTV footage, it is 100% a real assault." The officer had the motive to avoid and did not fight back. From the CCTV footage, the officer's attitude was very good. It was Ouyang Xing who was looking for trouble. He grabbed the officer's collar and hit him. "Send it to the radio and television stations that just broadcast the news. You have to be quick and deal with it before he notifies his forces. You know what to say, right?" "I know. I won't mention anything that I shouldn't." "Yes, thank you for your hard work." What are you talking about? Boss, I'm hanging up. Jiang Zhao hung up and twirled the phone in his hand. He thought to himself, Ouyang Sheng, I'll pull your tendons. Ouyang Sheng did not expect that after so many years of being innocent, he would be arrested at this age. The entire police station was filled with hotheads, and there was not a single familiar face. The station chief was on a business trip, the deputy chief was on a business trip, and the captain did not come out to meet anyone. He was actually detained by a few hotheads. If news of what happened today were to spread, he would lose all his face. Sitting in the police room, he was pressed down by a few police officers to take his statement. He didn't want to say a word. He knew it when he was young. Confess and you'll be lenient. If you resist, you'll go home for the new year. The more you talk, the more mistakes you'll make. The less you talk, the less mistakes you'll make. But this was still a small matter. Ouyang Sheng was furious because of Ouyang Yu's lack of composure. Ouyang Yu felt that since Ouyang Sheng was locked up, no one would give him face. Was it the end of the world? Her son could not be saved. The evidence on TV showed hundreds of millions of yuan in gambling. Moreover, it was proven that the casino belonged to her son. However, this casino did not belong to her son. It belonged to her brother, Ouyang Sheng. Her son was only in his early 30s and still had a lot of youth. He still had a long road ahead of him. If he was sentenced severely, what would she do? Would she end up like a white-haired person who had to send off her son? The more she thought about it, the more her heart ached. Brother, you have to think of a way. That casino did not belong to He Ping. How can you let him be the scapegoat? Brother, you can't do this. How much does He Ping earn in a year? That casino did not belong to you? Ouyang Sheng saw that the police officer was looking at him with a thought-provoking gaze. He stood up abruptly. He was so angry that his hands were trembling. Bia. He gave Ouyang Yu a slap. Ouyang Yu, shut up. If you want your son to get out of here, you'd better shut your stinky mouth immediately. Ouyang Yu was stunned by this slap. Ouyang Sheng was so angry that his entire face was about to flip. Not only did this woman not have common sense, she did not even know who to protect now. As long as he fell from the family Ouyang, how could the others stand up? Brother? Ouyang Yu looked at Ouyang Sheng, who had his head held high and chest puffed out, looking like a fiend. She didn't even dare to cry out loud. The police officer looked at each other. He smiled as if he was watching a good show. Ouyang Sheng's chest was burning with anger. This group of brats did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. It was just that there were very few people in Haicheng who dared to not give him face publicly. The power of the casinos in Haicheng's several districts was very clear. Everyone minded their own business. They each did things their own way. No one wanted to take over another's territory. After all, if no one did such a thing publicly, did it mean that they did it privately? He knew the boss of the Wasity Casino. That person was a straightforward guy. At that time, in order to protect the interests of the casinos in several districts, he had specially met with the managers below him. Lin Shui Casino? However, the bosses of these casinos were probably like him. They were only behind the scenes. The people in front of the scenes were just pawns. Ouyang Sheng called the city's public security office. It was also the public security office that released him with a call. Captain Lien Wen's interrogation work was immediately stopped. He Ping signed and admitted his guilt. This was the result that Jiang Zhao had expected. As Qin Rongfang said, Haicheng's power field was a magnetic field. There were positive poles and negative poles. When someone cut a magnet in half, the broken parts of the magnet would no longer be able to attract each other. If they could not attract each other, they would conflict with each other. If you forced them a little, the other magnet would also use a strong force to force your strength back. Unless you kept increasing your strength and forced the magnet out of this range. Otherwise, you would be restricted and unable to move forward. This magnetic field could not leave anyone. It reinforced and restrained each other. No one could survive alone. No one could be all-encompassing and reach out and overstep their authority. If this balance was broken, it would be chaotic. Therefore, the process of breaking this balance had to be slow. During this process, it was necessary to support another fulcrum to maintain the balance. Balance was the doctrine of the mean that everyone in the government had to learn. The Jiang family and the Qin family also paid attention to this doctrine of the mean. Every child had to learn from a young age, learn how to balance and learn how to balance. Just like him and Zhuang Yichen. Without Zhuang Yichen, he would do things as if he had lost a wing. However, without him, Jiang Zhao, Zhuang Yichen would not be where he was today. They needed each other and restrained each other. This was balance. He wanted to restrain Ouyang Sheng. He could only skin him bit by bit, pull out his tendons, anesthetize and infiltrate him bit by bit. He could not alert the enemy. After today's incident, Ouyang Sheng would probably think that someone wanted to steal his betting spot. Who would know that the famous fourth master was involved in the casino business? Grandpa and father did not know. However, Jiang Zhao had a partner called Zhuang Yichen. Zhuang Yichen's business was half bright and half dark. Therefore, Ouyang Sheng would never expect that his casino would be destroyed by Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao had achieved his goal. At this time he stopped. Ouyang Sheng would not suspect him, and the elders in the family would not know. Even if they knew, they would not be angry. They would only damage Ouyang Sheng's reputation and money. Moreover, now that He Ping was forced to admit his crime, Ouyang Yu would definitely not be satisfied. Internal strife? Jiang Zhao heaved a sigh of relief and thought to himself, Ouyang Sheng, as the saying goes, if the family is harmonious, everything will prosper. If you want me to be at odds with my wife, I can only let you and your sister be at odds with each other. This time he had picked on Ouyang Sheng's one-track mind. Underground casinos provided Ouyang Sheng with a large amount of money, allowing him to do many businesses. Once this capital chain was broken, many of his projects that were in full swing would be difficult to maintain. If he needed a capital chain, he would have to take a bank loan. If he had to take this step, Jiang Zhao's mood improved. He had angered Ouyang Sheng to the point that he was hospitalized. This feeling was not ordinary. Thinking back to that time, Jiang Zhao's blood pressure had risen. How could he say that he would take responsibility? Not to mention that he did not have any memories. Even if he had memories, he could not take responsibility. Even if he had memories? Even if he had memories, he could not. Jiang Zhao shook his head. The atmosphere in the Procuratorate Director's office was tense. Ouyang Yin sat opposite Shin Kai with a mask and sunglasses. Ouyang Yin had already applied for leave, but something big had happened at home. Her grandfather was hospitalized, and she was very worried that He Ping's case would implicate her family. Ouyang. She wanted to meet Shin Kai face to face, and only Shin Kai had the authority to help her with Yin Hongwei's matter. Shin Kai, are you going to help me? If I agree to be with you. Shin Kai said as he buried his head in signing documents. Tell me, your face hasn't even recovered. What are you doing here? It's enough for you to take care of for a month. Go back. Ouyang Yin seemed to be spied on by someone. She shivered as if she had reached her climax. What did you say? Inspector O. Shin Kai raised his head and looked at Ouyang Yin. Even though he was wearing the prosecutor's office uniform, he still looked a little like a hooligan. His lips were crooked, and when he opened his mouth, his smile was a little evil. Fortunately, a handsome man with such a smile was not annoying. Instead, it was a little fascinating. Sometimes don't be too confident. Agree? What do you mean agree? We both graduated from law school. Sometimes you have to think clearly about the meaning of a word. What is the basis for agreeing? The basis for agreeing is that I have a request. What request have I made that you need to agree to? You. Ouyang Yin slammed her slender hand on the desk and stood up angrily. Shin Kai, don't be so shameless. Face? My face? Shin Kai touched his cheek and continued to bury his head in signing documents. My face is still on my head. I don't need to cover it with a mask and sunglasses. Moreover, I have always felt that a woman's face is more important. Don't you women like to say that a woman looks good for herself? If you don't have a face, who else can you please? Shin Kai had always been a sharp-tongued person. It was not that Ouyang Yin had not experienced his sarcastic and mean way of speaking. The last time they ate at Haiyue restaurant, Shin Kai's attitude was not much better. However, Shin Kai's sarcasm today made Ouyang Yin feel unusually uncomfortable. Shin Kai, if you don't want to help, then don't help. Is there a need to be like this? I don't think there's a need, but didn't you still ask? What do you mean? Awesome novel Xingwu 799. Chapter 640. Sigh. Shin Kai was a person who rarely frowned, but at this moment, his pair of dark eyebrows were furrowed. Do you know why I didn't choose to have a crush on you like the other students in university, and instead chose to fight with Jiang Zhao? Because I feel that you have to fight for everything. If you win, you can wait for an equal return. Having a crush on someone is the stupidest thing. I will not continue to have one-sided feelings for a woman who doesn't like me. This is my nature. Actually, what I want to say is, I am different from you. You feel that all the men in the world are dead and it must be Jiang Zhao. But I feel that all the women in the world are not dead and there is no need. It must be you. Do you understand? When Ouyang Yin turned around, her lips were trembling under the mask. She was very uncomfortable and no one cared about her feelings. Shin Kai looked at Ouyang Yin leaving inside. What does it mean to be stubborn? After Ouyang Sheng's gambling den incident, there was a cash flow problem. In order to reduce He Ping's sentence, he had to pay a huge fine and a relationship fee. Because of this, he did not have the time and energy to deal with Ouyang Yan's matters. Ye had been ignoring Jiang Zhao. She needed to calm down. Jiang Zhao only cared about pleasing Yun Hongwei, and Yun Hongwei's case was being dealt with quickly. Jiang Zhao let Ye be. He only talked to her about Yun Hongwei's case occasionally and asked for her opinion. Jiang Zhao knew that this was despicable, but he did not mind her staying by his side because of Yun Hongwei, even though he knew that Ye did not love him. Now that he knew that she loved him, he would not mind using this method to remind her that she needed him. Ye needs Jiang Zhao. Without Jiang Zhao, she does not have any information. She wanted to use the power of the media, but she realized that even with the power of the media, she does not know how to dig deeper. She could not get any information from the previous mayor, and her father was only a scapegoat. It was very difficult for her to find out the truth behind this. Fortunately, she was so cold that she didn't want to share a bed with Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao was also willing to indulge her. At this time she believed that he loved her. Because in the past she always thought that what he liked was only her body. He liked to lie on her body and do what he wanted to do. Women like to separate love from sex. But men don't think that when a man wants a woman, he likes to put her naked on the bed for him to fish on. Jiang Zhao is no exception. Even if Ye treated her coldly and said that he would not return to Jiang District to officiate the wedding, he would still let her be. But this doesn't mean that he doesn't want to do something with her. But he must be very gentlemanly in front of her and not let her keep a distance from him. Even if they are just friends, it would be good. In front of Yun Hongwei they can still hug. How many days has it been since they slept together? When they hugged each other, they felt the blood in their body rushing around. Ye was still the same as before. After dinner she sent Jiang Zhao to the door. Yun Hongwei said to Jiang Zhao, "If you don't want to come home for dinner, give me a call." In front of Yun Hongwei, Jiang Zhao kissed Ye's forehead and said goodbye to them. After a while, Ye drove to the newly rented dance studio to look at the design drawings. Jiang Zhao felt that the kiss on Ye's forehead every day was too short. He wanted to make it longer and lower. It would be best if he could suck on her lips. Today, as soon as he got to the office, he was thinking about these things. He was really beastly. Behind Jiang Zhao's desk was a bookshelf. At this moment he was standing alone in front of the bookshelf. He leaned back in his chair and stared at the folder in front of him in a daze. His dark blue suit was a reserved color. The fine workmanship and embossed tailoring made him look exceptionally tall and muscular. His well-defined and handsome facial features paired with this outfit made him look like a steady and handsome man. But at this moment he had his arms crossed in front of his chest. With his left foot as the center of gravity, the tip of his right foot was hooked on the ground outside of his left foot. His head was slightly tilted as he stared at the folder in front of him. It was as though he had seen something strange and couldn't stop giggling. It was as though he had been infected with a childishness that seriously didn't match his usual temperament. Jiang Zhao laughed for a while. Then he took out his phone and called Ye. "Yunyi, I'm coming home for dinner tonight. I want to eat your cooking." Ye answered very quickly. "Okay. Text me the dishes you want to eat. I don't want to forget 1 or 2 dishes when I go grocery shopping." "Okay." Jiang Zhao laughed and hung up the phone. He turned around and sat back in his chair. After thinking about it, he still called Qin Fian. That night, Jiang Zhao could be said to have eaten and drank to his heart's content. At the table, Jiang Zhao kept giving Ye some dishes with a slightly stronger flavor. Yun Hongwei beamed with joy. His son-in-law was so good to his daughter. After dinner, Jiang Zhao poured some water and went upstairs. He drank as he walked, very leisurely. After returning to his small room, he closed the door and generously put the seasoning he had prepared in advance into the cup. He shook it a little and saw that the water in the cup seemed to be evenly distributed. Then he generously went downstairs and filled the cup with some warm water. Ye was watching TV with Yun Hongwei. Jiang Zhao walked over and sat down beside Ye. He handed the cup to Ye. "Here, drink some water. The dishes are cooked well, but the flavor is a little strong. I'm afraid you'll be thirsty." Ye pushed the cup away and didn't appreciate it. "I'm not thirsty." Jiang Zhao hurriedly protected the cup, afraid that the water would spill. "Drink it. I've already drunk half the cup. I poured some more for you. You've worked hard cooking tonight." Yun Hongwei turned his head and glared at Ye. "I also think you're thirsty. Hurry up and drink it." Ye thought to herself, "This is my biological father. Why is he siding with his son-in-law when it comes to drinking water?" If Jiang Zhao wanted to buy people's hearts, he wouldn't have to do it so subversively, right? Looking at her father's threatening gaze, Yi Er lifted the cup. She held the cup and gulped down the large cup of water. Jiang Zhao took the cup and stood up. You need, Dad, take your time watching. I'm going upstairs. I still have some work to do, Yi Er replied with an N. Yun Hongwei said, don't work too hard. Yi Er made some sweet soup. Come down and drink it when you're done. Jiang Zhao said, okay, Dad. I'll go up then. He turned and went upstairs. Jiang Zhao held onto the wooden staircase railing. His mind was a little flustered and he couldn't help but smile as he walked. Yi Er seemed to have sensed something and turned her head. She saw Jiang Zhao walking slowly upstairs as he looked at her and smiled. Don't you have work to do? You still have time to dawdle? Jiang Zhao pursed his lips. His shoulders twitched and he smiled leisurely. He waved at Yi Er and said gently, if I don't come down, bring me a bowl of sweet soup when it's ready. Before Yi Er could reply, Yun Hongwei had already turned around. Go ahead. I'll get Yi Er to bring it up for you later. Satisfied, Jiang Zhaoji went upstairs to the study. He turned on the computer and started working. He had to finish reading the emails quickly. He also had to take a shower later. He had to see which pajamas were easier to take off. Yi Er felt her mouth and tongue dry. The dishes for dinner were really too salty. She stood up to get some water. The water was warm, but it didn't quench her thirst. She opened the fridge and found a Yakult. She opened the lid and drank it in 2 mouthfuls. It finally cooled down a little. It was still winter. Was there a need for that? Was it because the temperature in the house was constant and dry? Yun Hongwei knew that Yi Er was looking for water. Jiang Zhao was afraid that you'd be too salty, so he gave you water to drink. You didn't want it, so you're still thirsty. Yun Hongwei also realized that he had become naggy because he stayed at home for too long and couldn't work. I see that you've been dissatisfied with Jiang Zhao recently. Look at yourself. How many men like Jiang Zhao are so responsible for their families? Jiang Zhao never goes out too late to socialize. When he can eat at home, he never goes out. He's also very tolerant of you. Are you starting to put on airs now that you're living well? Dad, what are you talking about? As Yi Er drank her water, she felt that she had been wronged. Jiang Zhao had been going overboard recently. When she ignored him, he didn't do anything. But he changed his strategy and adopted a more conciliatory approach. He changed his approach and actually started with her father. Her father didn't trust Jiang Zhao in the beginning. But now he found him pleasing to the eye. People say that the more a mother-in-law looks at her son-in-law, the more satisfied she is. Wasn't her attitude too disrespectful to the person who created this saying? Yi Er, it's not that I want to nag at you, but you've turned a deaf ear to what I said to you the last time. Now Jiang Zhao dotes on you and loves you. If you don't know how to cherish him, you'll push him away sooner or later. If you treat him well, he'll miss this home and want to come back. Every day he comes back to see your cold face. Do you think he can't find a wife or something? Yun Hongwei said, looking at Yi Er, who was looking for a drink in front of the fridge in the dining room. Just watch. You can continue to act like this. Now Jiang Zhao dotes on you and loves you. If you don't cherish him, you'll push him away sooner or later. He continued to talk about this. The moment he did, Yi Er felt like she had eaten a fly. Of course I know he's very charming. Truckloads of women like him. Yun Hongwei could hear the impatience in Yi Er's words and stopped talking. Young people don't know how to cherish. He turned back to continue watching TV. Yi Er was not in the mood to continue talking. She felt uncomfortable all over, as if there were tiny insects crawling all over her body. She could even feel that her insides were a little wet. This was too terrible. She felt that her face must be red right now. How could this be? She didn't open any novel websites today and didn't read any of those unscrupulous online novels. Even if she did, she had been doing something like green net cleansing during this period of time. All the novels written by authors were as clean as water could be. Not to mention meat, there wasn't even any meat soup to drink. She couldn't let her imagination run wild, right? Yi Er took an iced Coke, closed the fridge door and ran upstairs. After drinking a few mouthfuls of the Coke, Yi Er realized that she had become naughty. She took off her clothes piece by piece and walked into the bathroom naked. She turned on the shower and the water from the shower head splashed onto her body. The water was slightly cold, but Yi Er felt that the temperature was not low enough. As she showered, she took deep breaths. The water sprinkled down from the top of her head. Yi Er rubbed the shower gel on her body. She raised her arm and saw that there was a layer of pink on her arm. The color seemed to be transparent, as if it would break with a poke. After it broke, the color below would be redder, more beautiful, and more stunning. So she rubbed hard, trying to break through this layer of skin. The bath lotion was smooth and fragrant as it brushed past her skin. She would often rub it repeatedly with her slender hands, creating many bubbles. Turned off the lotus and looked at the bubbles on her hands and body. When she leaned against the cool magnetic tiles, a silhouette appeared on the bubbles. Among those silhouettes, there were those who were naked, those who were lustful, those who were on top of each other, and those who were on top of each other. There were only two people in the silhouettes. One of them was Jiang Zhao and the other was Yunyi. Beauty novel Songshu 566. Chapter 641. That man was seductively teasing her on the bed. She was looking at him in a daze under him, begging him to give her, begging him to love her. The bubble burst all of a sudden, raising fine gray-like bubbles. When the bubble burst, Yer seemed to have heard a loud bang. That feeling was unbearable, anxious, disappointed, angry, and disgusted. Why did it burst? Why didn't he continue to let her see those charming scenes? She rubbed her hands together and slowly pulled them apart. She pulled out another big bubble and placed it in her palms. Her heart was filled with that man again. His forehead was covered with sweat from his lust. His shoulders were broad and strong, and his arms were firm and safe. He could hold her back with one hand and keep her away from the bed. His other hand was propped up on the bed, and he was sweating profusely on her body. Yier's mouth was still dry, but her tongue was still irritated. She turned on the shower again and adjusted the water to ice cold. When the water hit her body, she didn't feel cold, only itchy and numb. Yier felt that she was sick. Lovesickness? Well, spring sickness? Jiang Zhao had said before that at her age she could think. It was spring. She hadn't paid attention to Jiang Zhao for a long time, but it shouldn't be like this, right? She sat on the cold floor and felt that she was becoming more and more unprincipled. She had an idea. She wanted a kiss from him, a caress. Yes, a caress would be enough. She didn't want anything else, just a touch. She felt that she didn't dare to touch herself anymore. Once she touched him, she would want to tear herself apart. It didn't matter if she closed her eyes or not. Her mind was filled with Jiang Zhao, and Jiang Zhao. And she actually remembered that time in the Qin Palace. He was like a magnificent evil spirit that tore her apart. He was so violent and ruthless as he took her. There were many times when she thought that he had fallen asleep and wanted to leave, but he held her back and tore her apart again. He was like a beast that couldn't be fed. She could only escape when he was tired. Then there were those nights where there was no pain, only pleasure. Yier wondered why Jiang Zhao had suddenly become a gentleman. Why didn't he just smash her door open with an axe like that time, then rush in, throw her on the bed, and ravage her violently and cruelly? When Jiang Zhao heard Yier rushing up the stairs, he turned off his computer. After Yier closed the door, he went to listen for any sounds. Then he returned to his room and took a shower. As he showered, he sang a song. What song should he sing? Anyway, it was fine as long as it was happy. His little Red Riding Hood was now washing white. After taking a shower, Jiang Zhao returned to the bedroom. He opened the drawer of the wall cabinet, took out the DV and checked the battery. He turned on the DV and placed it on the wall cabinet directly facing the bed. He lay down on the bed and adjusted it for a while. Then he stood up and walked to the wall cabinet. He took down the DV, checked the image, deleted it and restarted it. Everything was ready. He took a book from the bookshelf and lay down on the bed, leisurely waiting for the rabbit to appear. He leaned his head against the soft headboard and flipped through 2 pages of the book. However, he did not manage to read a single word. He touched his hair and touched his face. Finally, it was time to read. He put the book down and took off his t-shirt-style long-sleeved pajamas. Then he took out a set of button-up pajamas from the wardrobe. At first, he felt that the buttons were inconvenient. But now that he thought about it, the buttons were better. What if Yier had strong self-control? He did not dare to use too much of the drug, so he put on the pajamas and looked at himself in the mirror. He undid one of the buttons and continued to look at himself. As if he was not satisfied, he undid another button. Just like that, the buttons of the button-up pajamas became decorations. A certain man's posture of reading in bed became bold and unrestrained. He stood on tiptoes and swayed his body, humming a little tune with a spring breeze on his face. The door was deliberately locked. Yier really could not stand the feeling of ants crawling all over her body. She was wondering if she should look for a pornographic video website to watch. It would also help alleviate her current situation. Websites were also afraid of being infected with viruses. So she opened the website, opened the bookshelf, and flipped through 2 romance novels to read. She clicked on them with the mouse and remembered that she had read a few chapters of the novels she had read before. Then she clicked on them again. The asterisk eminent. Glaring asterisk. Everywhere there were asterisk. Or some chapters could not be found at all. On the message board, the author posted an announcement at the top. A chapter has been rejected. Those who want to read it, join the Q group. The asterisk eminent. Now that she was in a hurry to read it, who wanted to join the group? It's over, it's over. She had been subjected to abstinence. Now the male and female protagonists in the novel had also been subjected to abstinence. In the kitchen, the sweet soup in the electric pot was ready. Yun Hongwei unplugged it, but he did not call Jiang Zhao. He was not used to going upstairs. When they were about to drink it, he would come down. He also did not want to appear too caring for them. It felt strange. He did not know if it was his imagination, but the relationship between his daughter and son-in-law had been very subtle and strange. He always felt that there was a layer between them. He could see the awkwardness and the conflict between them, but he did not know how serious it was. He just treated it as the young people playing around. When he returned to his room, he looked at the photo frame on the table and felt a sense of satisfaction. His son was growing up and his daughter was starting a family. He was afraid that in another 2 years he would be a grandfather. How could there be so much happiness in life? Although Jolie had betrayed him, she had left him with a son and a daughter. He was satisfied. Yi-Er was wearing a thin bathrobe. Her hair was still wet and had not dried. She stood outside Jiang Zhao's room and knocked on the door. Jiang Zhao jumped up from the bed excitedly. When he held the door lock, he deliberately coughed to show that he was calm and opened the door. Yi-Er saw Jiang Zhao open the door. She suddenly felt that her nose was going to bleed. She touched her nose and took it in front of her. There was no blood. Fortunately, she did not lose her composure. Her eyes stopped at the man's Adam's apple. The Adam's apple moved up and down as if it was swallowing very thirstily. Her gaze slowly moved down. His exposed chest was too sexy. His skin was light wheat. How manly was he? His chest muscles were so well trained. She was not that heavy on fitness equipment, right? It should be easy for him to lift her up, right? Her consciousness was a little unfocused. She reached out and touched the man's chest. After all, women were not like men who were creatures of the lower body, so they had to be more tolerant. When she touched his chest, it was cold. It was not as hot as hers. The difference in temperature made her suddenly pause. She coughed awkwardly and said, "Ahem, it's winter. Aren't you cold wearing this?" Jiang Zhao had no intention of letting Yi-Er into the room. He smiled gently and said, "Isn't the temperature in the house constant? It's not cold. Why don't you go to bed early?" I came to talk to you about something." Yi-Er was still staring at Jiang Zhao's chest. As she stared, she swallowed hard. Oh no, she wanted to pounce on him. "Well, come in." Jiang Zhao generously made way for Yi-Er. After Yi-Er entered the room, she did not know whether to stand or sit. Her whole body was uncomfortable, but there was a reserved sense of shame that tugged at her forcefully, telling her that they were still in a cold war. A cold war. Jiang Zhao came out of the bathroom and took a dry towel. He pressed Yi-Er to sit by the bed. He wrapped the towel in her hair and slowly dried it. "Why didn't you blow-dry your hair?" This woman was really too much. If she didn't blow-dry her hair at night, wouldn't she be waiting to catch a cold? Seriously. I forgot. Let's go and blow-dry your hair. Although Jiang Zhao wanted to eat Yi-Er clean, he felt that blow-drying her hair was more important. He pulled Yi-Er up and walked to the bathroom. He turned on the blow-dryer and carefully dried the woman's long hair. Jiang Zhao had not blow-dried Yi-Er's hair before, so he felt that it was a little interesting. However, Yi-Er's mind was not on her hair at all. "It's really not hot." Jiang Zhao, what's wrong with you here?" Yi-Er pointed at Jiang Zhao's crotch and laughed sinisterly. Jiang Zhao's face immediately turned red. "Go back to your room and sleep. Stop touching my body. Take it off, take it off. Didn't you say you were going to ignore me? Why are you taking off my clothes again?" Jiang Zhao placed his hand on Yi-Er's butt and pinched it hard. Yi-Er couldn't take Jiang Zhao's pinch. At this moment she couldn't take it anymore and didn't want to take it anymore. Since he had already eaten, then so be it. "Of course, why would I ignore you? We're husband and wife. Isn't it normal for us to take off our clothes and sleep together?" Jiang Zhao was delighted. He reached out and undid the belt of his thin robe. "Yunyi, you can't just think about your lower body, right? You can't say things so casually. You have to admit it." "Yes, I admit it." At this moment, Yi-Er felt like she had finally become a beast. She didn't care anymore. She couldn't care about anything. She had to put out the fire first. She would agree to anything he said. Jiang Zhao glanced at the camcorder on the bookshelf from the corner of his eye. He grabbed Yi Er's hand that was reaching down to his lower body. He resisted the urge and asked seriously, "You're not getting a divorce anymore?" Yi Er gritted her teeth. A beauty was right in front of her. "I'm not getting a divorce anymore." After speaking, she lunged at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao covered Yi Er's mouth. He took a deep breath and continued to ask, "You're not going to separate rooms anymore?" Yi Er's mouth was covered, but her hand wasn't. She felt that this man's figure was very good. It would be good to touch him a little more. Separate rooms? Forget it, forget it. I'll touch him first. What's there to separate? Oh. Then let me hear you call me hubby. Hubby, hubby, good hubby, Jiang Zhao responded gently. He flipped over and pressed her down. Honey, you said it yourself. If we don't get a divorce, we won't separate rooms. You can't deny it even if you want to. We won't separate anymore, hubby, hubby. The next day, Jiang Zhao went to his office in a relaxed and happy mood. The moment he entered, he saw Lu Qing giving him a look. He glanced at where Lu Qing was looking and saw Ouyang Xing sitting on the sofa in the guest room. He looked like a big boss. You look like one. He nodded at Lu Qing and gestured for him to close the door. Jiang Zhao reached out and brushed the dust off the hem of his suit. Sir. Ouyang Xing turned his head. When he saw Jiang Zhao, he stood up and acted like a veteran. Zhao Zhao, you've been very busy recently. Of course I've been very busy. Jiang Zhao sat down on the other sofa and deliberately said sarcastically, Sir, you're looking more and more radiant. Your body is getting healthier. As expected, Ouyang Xing's expression changed. He had just been discharged from the hospital 2 days ago. Qin Rongfang had visited him. Although Jiang Zhao didn't visit him, it was impossible that he hadn't heard about it. This brat was looking down on him more and more. Now the medical standards are high and the lifespan of the elderly is longer. I'm afraid he won't die anytime soon. Jiang Zhao stood up and poured a cup of water in a disposable paper cup. He handed it to Ouyang Xing and laughed as if he was joking. People will die sooner or later. I understand. Ouyang Xing had just been discharged from the hospital. He was so angry that he wanted to be hospitalized again because of Jiang Zhao's actions and words. Qin Rongfang liked tea and so did Jiang Zhao. Therefore, there was a high-end tea set in the reception area of Jiang Zhao's office. Jiang Zhao didn't boil water for him. Instead, he poured him a cup of water from the water dispenser. He knew that he had just learned about it from the hospital, but he actually said that people would die sooner or later. Ouyang Xing knew that Jiang Zhao didn't give him face, so he didn't need to be polite to Jiang Zhao. He said coldly, I'm here to ask you something today. I want to verify with you. Beauty novel Xingwu 799. Chapter 642. Jiang Zhao was suspicious but he didn't point it out. His attitude towards Ouyang Xing couldn't be more obvious. Qin Rongfang had tried to persuade him at first, but now he was too lazy to say anything. How much do you know about He Ping? Ouyang Xing finally asked. I'm not very interested in his affairs. Jiang Zhao thought to himself. If he wanted to use He Ping's back door, wouldn't it be better to ask his father? His father had a stronger relationship with him, and it was easier for the older generation to talk to him. Why did he come here to ask him? Do you have a deep opinion of family Ouyang now? Ouyang Xing let out a deep breath and stared at Jiang Zhao without blinking. Jiang Zhao met his gaze, but he was calm and composed without the slightest hint of nervousness. Slowly he pursed his lips and couldn't help but smile. Fourth Master, everyone is talking about family Ouyang. You also know that with my identity here, I should avoid arousing suspicion. Jiang Zhao's punishment could be said to be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. First, it hurt Ouyang Xing's vitality. Second, once Ouyang Xing got involved with those filthy places, the Ouyang Yan incident could no longer be linked to him. It was impossible under any circumstances. Not to mention that the Qin and Jiang families didn't agree to divorce so easily. Even if they forced him to divorce, they couldn't let him marry into family Ouyang. The background of an underground casino was not something that a politician should be involved with. Avoid arousing suspicion? Ouyang Xing's withered palms rested on his knees, the white of his fingernails showing his strength. Do you not want to take responsibility for Yun Yun? Do you think you can avoid arousing suspicion just because you want to? Responsibility? Jiang Zhao knew that this matter couldn't be let go so easily, but when it was mentioned, there was still a flickering flame in his consciousness that burned very quickly. Don't say that nothing happened between us. Even if something did happen, I can't take responsibility for her. Do you think I don't know that you've drugged me and set me up? Don't talk about responsibility. Even if you ask me to compensate you with money, I won't do it. I feel like I've suffered more losses. Jiang Zhao. Ouyang Sheng abruptly stood up. Suddenly, he felt his blood rushing to his head and could not stand steadily. He realized that his illness was acting up again. Yunyun has been in a relationship with you before. How dare you say that you want to compensate her? How dare you say that you're at a disadvantage? Am I not at a disadvantage? Jiang Zhao was still sitting on the sofa. He crossed his legs and tilted his head to look at Ouyang Sheng. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly as he smiled. Don't you think that I'm the one at a disadvantage? I'm married. My wife divorced me because of this matter. My grandparents got ready in the middle of the night and rushed to High City early the next morning because of your call. Most importantly, my grandmother has always been afraid of flying. Because of my wife's divorce, my work efficiency has decreased and my quality of life has decreased. Is this not serious enough? Tell me, what did you guys lose? Is Ouyang Yan's family in danger of falling apart because of this? Who do you think is at a disadvantage? Even if I have to compensate, I think it should be you, the person who set us up, who should compensate me. What responsibility do you want me to take? Yunyun said that you would wait for her to come back. Jiang Zhao, you're a traitor. Literally, I said that I would wait for her to come back. Aren't all of you waiting for her to come back? My original words were that no matter where she goes, High City will always be her home. We will all wait for her to come back. Did I say anything wrong? You. Fourth Master, do you have anything else to say besides this? Jiang Zhao started to use honorifics again, but this also proved that he was alienating him. Jiang Zhao, tell me clearly. Did you do something behind He Ping's matter? Ouyang Sheng exhaled and sat down again. He was almost angered by this brat because of his granddaughter. Jiang Zhao laughed heartily. Meh. What can I do? When this news was released, I was shocked. I did not know that Fourth Master has such a powerful background. You had gambled a few $100 million in one night. How much money did you get? How many people will be jealous of you? It's not you? Do you think I am only a deputy mayor and have such capabilities? Jiang Zhao belittled himself. Ouyang Sheng snorted. What's impossible? It was too difficult for him to not suspect Jiang Zhao. He remembered the look in Jiang Zhao's eyes when he carried Yunyi away that day. It was clear that there was hatred and vengeance in his eyes. If Jiang Zhao wanted revenge, then it was reasonable that the casino was destroyed, but Jiang Zhao had no reason to know. For a businessman like you, you should be close to the Public Security Bureau. Fourth Master, is it because you did not distribute your shares evenly? Jiang Zhao started to mislead Feng Yu. Of course, Ouyang Sheng had considered this as well. Are you trying to be bureaucratic with me? No need for that. During that period, I was busy comforting Madam and did not even have time to deal with you. Ouyang Sheng was furious when he saw Jiang Zhao's attitude. In the past, whenever Jiang Zhao looked at him or called him, he would be very polite. He would call him fourth grandpa affectionately. Now he directly drew a line and openly confronted him. How could he not be on guard against such a person? I won't let go of Yunyun's matter. Jiang Zhao, you'd better listen to the family Ouyang's arrangement. Yunye's family is not good for your future. Get rid of that burden. The marriage between you and Yunyun is the most suitable choice for the two powerful families. Ouyang Sheng's sense of superiority was fully revealed from his words. Jiang Zhao stood up and stretched out his hand, meaning to shake hands with Ouyang Sheng. Ouyang Sheng was delighted, thinking that Jiang Zhao had thought it through. Just as he was about to praise him, he did not expect Jiang Zhao to say something so serious that Ouyang Sheng could not accept it. Fourth Master, in any case, I have a public position. With a monthly welfare package and a bonus, I will be well off. Even if I'm a prodigal son of a wealthy family, I won't be able to squander my mother's money in a short time. Even if I'm a useless prodigal son and can't support my wife and father-in-law, the Jiang and Qin families can support me. I won't even be short of breath. So from my point of view, I really don't feel that the Yun family is a burden. Too easy. Ouyang Sheng looked at Jiang Zhao's hands, which were intertwined with his, and suddenly understood. It turned out that Jiang Zhao was sending him off. If you don't get a divorce, I will also post the photos of you sleeping on Yunyun's bed. Jiang Zhao had thought of this before. Qin Rongfang had told him not to go against Ouyang Sheng because Ouyang Sheng had photos of him and Ouyang Yan sleeping together. The reason why he didn't make a fuss about this matter was because he was afraid that Yi would take offense. It was fine if he didn't bring it up usually, but whenever he did, Ye would explode. However, if something had already happened and there was no turning back, he had already thought of the worst outcome. His hand was still holding Yangxing's. The corners of his mouth curled up, and the corner of his left eye narrowed. Fourth Master, hurry up and post it. The sooner this matter spreads, the sooner it will end. You just want to make me unable to be the deputy mayor. I will not be the deputy mayor. I will not be the deputy mayor. In the future, I will still be able to support my wife and children. At most, I will lose my position. But I will never get a divorce. I will never marry Yang Yan. You should be prepared today. I will also be prepared to post your photos to every corner of Haiqing. When Yi woke up, it was already 9:30 am. Yun Hongwei had never woken up Jiang Zhao and Yi. That's why Yi slept until 12 am. She will not wake up unless there is an alarm. She touched her body, legs and arms. Her whole body was sore. She felt that turning over was harder than running 5,000 meters. She slowly opened her eyes and quickly opened them. The furnishings in this room were shocking. This was not her room. It was Jiang Zhao's room. The events of yesterday became clearer and clearer in her mind. The sleepless night had caused her to be unable to move her legs. Furthermore, it wasn't Jiang Zhao who was squeezing her, but she was the one who was squeezing Jiang Zhao. She rewound her memory. She remembered that he would always tell her in a shocked tone, "Darling, you are awesome today." In fact, Jiang Zhao rarely called her darling or darling intimately in bed. Unless he was so satisfied that he could not help but say, "Ah, my little sweetheart, you are killing me." She did not know how satisfied Jiang Zhao must have been to call her darling in such a mushy way. Yi covered her face. Even though there was no one in the room, she was too embarrassed to raise her head. What kind of mentality did she have when she ate Jiang Zhao dry yesterday? It was hard to believe how thirsty she was. Thirsty? Indeed, she was so thirsty yesterday. Drinking glass after glass of water was useless. Even cold water was useless. Other than those images, there was nothing else in her mind. She suddenly felt that it was very strange. She knew that no matter how much she loved Jiang Zhao, it was not necessary for her to do that. She thought about the color of her skin at that time. She stood in the bathroom and looked at her eyes and cheeks in the mirror. She was full of desire and her face was red. How could a person change like this so suddenly? She suddenly quivered. That time when she went to threaten Jiang Zhao, he also changed suddenly after drinking the glass of water. Last night, Jiang Zhao gave her a glass of water to drink. After that, she was thirsty and her mouth was dry. Jiang Zhao. It must be him. That cheap man. She must find him and get even. She was naked, not even wearing underwear. She put on her nightgown. She was crazy. In this weather, she actually took out her nightgown. She jumped out of bed and saw a letter on the bedside table. The handwriting on the letter was strong and powerful. Dear Yunyi, I have already contacted someone to help you supervise the renovation of the dance studio. You don't have to go there today. Don't go there in the future. It's noisy and dirty. I will arrange it. If you have nothing to do, read a book. Don't forget that you have class in the afternoon. Love, Zhao. This was the first time she had received a letter from him. The size of the letter was only the size of a man's palm. The background was a green bamboo that was faintly reflected on the edge of the letter. She had never seen such handwriting before. She didn't know if it was Dear Yunyi in front or Love, Zhao in the back. Anyway, she felt that her vision was a little blurry. During this period of time, he had told her many times that he loved her. Every time she sent him to work after he planted a kiss on her forehead, he would always say softly, "Yunyi, I love you." If she could turn back time, it would be a wonderful thing. After putting the letter back, Yi tidied the bed and left Jiang Zhao's room. Beauty novel Hongcha 866. Chapter 643. Yi went to class in the university town, which was much more peaceful than before. The hairstylist also lowered his head when he saw her. He didn't show off his LV or Cartier in front of her like he used to. Yi thought that he probably knew who her husband was, so he was being polite. She didn't know that the hairstylist couldn't even work for 15 yuan anymore. He could only do it at home to save money. The family business was hard to run and his pocket money was so deducted that he couldn't use it to pick up girls. Men always wanted to save face. They really didn't want to be embarrassed in front of the girl they liked. When Yi was in the university town, she always ate with Xia Qian. Xia Qian was going to start her internship next year. The two found a relatively empty table in the cafeteria and sat down. Yi, what do you think of me? Xia Qian took a sip of soup. Pretty good. Yi didn't lie. She thought Xia Qian was pretty good. Xiaoyu was also very good. I mean, what do you think of me as a host? Yi felt that she was being rather unprofessional. In the past, she didn't even need to draft a script when she saw Jiang Zhao lying. But now, when she was facing Xia Qian, she was conflicted. It wasn't just a normal kind of conflicted. How should she say, I think you can definitely do it well? If she became a host in the future and didn't do well, she would scold her and say that she chose to be a host because of her. But if she said, impossible. If she went into another industry and didn't do well, she would still scold her and say that she didn't become a host because of her. If she became a host, she would definitely be popular. Xia Qian, this idiot, could definitely say these words. She was also afraid of being scolded by Xia Qian. Yinyi, you're not loyal. Xia Qian snorted and threw a piece of braised pork into her mouth. She chewed it with relish. How am I not loyal? Xia Qian finally had a piece of meat in her stomach. Let me put it this way. I want to develop my career as a host. Do you support me? Yi slapped his thigh and said generously, of course, as your friend, I will support you no matter what decision you make. If you have a dream, then go ahead and do it. I will support you no matter if you succeed or fail. Well, it's worth it to have a friend like you. Yes. Xia Qian scooped up a spoonful of tomato and egg soup and said generously, cheers. Yi was already used to it. He also scooped up a spoonful of tomato and egg soup. Their spoons touched. Cheers. The two of them picked up their spoons and drank the tomato and egg soup in one gulp. But as soon as he drank it, Yi wanted to spit it out. Xia Qian said, then tell Jiang Zhao tonight and ask him to arrange an internship for me at the TV station. Yi really wanted to spit out the soup. Why do you want to look for Jiang Zhao? It wasn't that she didn't want to. Firstly, it wasn't the right time for her and Jiang Zhao to talk about this. Secondly, she was afraid that Jiang Zhao would owe too many favors outside. Her father's matter was already very difficult to handle. Xia Qian's mouth twitched. Didn't you just say that you would support me? Yes, I said that I would support you. That's why I asked you to support me. You found Jiang Zhao and I entered the TV station. This is the best support. Qian, I said that I would support you spiritually. I didn't ask you to support me physically. Yi said, even if you want my body, I can't give it to you. Are you saying that you're messing with me? Are you just trying to show off your glib tongue? What do you mean spiritually? Are you trying to trick a 3-year-old child? Who doesn't know how to talk big? Is this how friends do things? It's fine if you don't have the resources, but even if you have the resources, you won't help me? Xia Qian began to display her expertise as a media person. Do you think it's easy for me? I'm already so old, but I only have one best friend other than my sister. I even treated you sincerely. When you were pestered by a hooligan with one phone call, I came all the way here to save you and bring you from the darkness to the light. When you were hospitalized, I visited you every day. I even found music for you and taught you which songs and which dances to which. I don't know how to dance, so I just looked for information online and told you when I found something. I just hoped that you would wake up soon. Those who didn't know better would think that I fell in love with a lesbian. Has your conscience been eaten by dogs? Yi screamed in her heart. She really couldn't afford to be hurt. Going from one door to another in the university town was like trekking through mountains and rivers. Who would dare to argue with a media person? However, she really remembered how Xia Qian and Xiaoyu treated her when she was hospitalized. The soft parts of her heart were always touched. Okay. I'll go back and talk to my husband tonight. But I can't guarantee that it'll work, Xia Qian interrupted her. Whether it works or not depends on your sincerity. Damn it. Yi's teeth were itching. Was this girl looking for a job or trying to persuade her to drink? Why don't you look for your sister? Your sister is very capable. Xia Qian shook her head and scooped rice into her spoon. I think it's time for me to be independent. I'm already so old, but I rely on my sister for everything. I feel very guilty. With that, she put a spoonful of rice into her mouth and chewed. Yi told herself that she couldn't lower herself to Xia Qian's level. She had to maintain a normal heart. However, she couldn't help but say, you've become independent from your sister, and now you're looking for someone to rely on? When are you going to become independent from me? Haha, wait until I find someone to rely on. God, please give Xia Qian a person to rely on. Yi began to pray sincerely. Xia Qian snorted, see, I only asked you for a favor and you're already trying to get rid of me. Can I still count on you in the future? Yi rolled her eyes at Xia Qian. Jiang Zhao adjusted his schedule and said that he had something to deal with in advance. In fact, he was going to the university to pick up Yi Er from school. Yi Er already drove. In front of Xia Qian, she said that she would drive back so that it wouldn't be inconvenient for her to go to school tomorrow morning. Unexpectedly, Xia Qian quickly said to Jiang Zhao, "Take Yi Er home. Ask Yi Er to give me the keys. I'll drive the car to 9th Mansion. I'll throw my bicycle in the trunk and ride it back. I have to ride it every day anyway." Yi Er said, "Huh." She looked at Xia Qian in surprise. She didn't dare let Xia Qian drive the car. Unexpectedly, Jiang Zhao agreed to Xia Qian's request. Yi Er got into Jiang Zhao's car but sat in the back. Jiang Zhao was disappointed. Did their relationship not improve after what happened last night? "Wifey, let's go watch a movie after dinner." "Who are you calling wifey? I told you not to call me that." Yi Er rolled her eyes at the man driving the car and continued to look out the window. Jiang Zhao's passion was like a fire being poured with a bucket of cold water, but he continued to pull the wind and reignited the fire. "Of course I'm calling you. Who else do you think I'm calling? There's only one woman named Yunyi on my marriage certificate. Aren't you Yunyi?" Yi Er knew that she was drugged last night, but she didn't want to expose this layer of paper. "I can't be bothered with you. Stay away from me in the future. Even if you can't be bothered with me, you still have to care." Jiang Zhao hummed a little. "Last night, you promised me that you wouldn't get a divorce, that you wouldn't ignore me, and that you wouldn't live separately from me. That's why I'm with you." Jiang Zhao. At first, Yi Er only felt awkward in her heart, but now she had completely turned into an angry little lion. Jiang Zhao's words were to remind her that she had forced herself on him last night, and he had been forced to have sex with her because of those tempting conditions. But the main culprit was him. "You called me hubby last night. Why are you so fierce now?" Jiang Zhao clearly felt that he couldn't be as petty as Yi Er. In any case, she had to admit it even if she didn't want to. He had evidence. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Yi Er knew that because of the drug, she had been forced to cry out like a kitten last night in order to squeeze Jiang Zhao dry. Calling him hubby made her tremble all over. "Let me tell you, Yunyi, you told me before, you admit it. Don't try to deny it now. When you rushed into my room, pressed me down on the bed and took off my clothes, why didn't you talk to me with such an attitude?" Jiang Zhao. "You still have the face. You drugged me. Do you think I don't know if I don't say anything? I originally wanted to leave some face for you, but now you don't want any face at all. If you don't want it, then don't want it. I can't be bothered to leave it for you. I don't understand what you're talking about." Although there was a sense of awkwardness from being seen through, Jiang Zhao had more experience than Yi Er, so he concealed his emotions rather quickly. "What drug?" Yi Er leaned against the back of the back seat and crossed her arms. "Jiang Zhao, stop acting. I know everything. How despicable are you? I ignored you, so you drugged me. If you have the ability, do it again. If you give me this drug again, I'll go out and find another man to cure me." "You dare." "I dare. Try it if you don't believe me." "I'm not going to try. I don't care about such despicable methods." Jiang Zhao thought to himself. Just because he didn't care about despicable methods, it didn't mean that he wouldn't use them. "I won't pursue what happened last night. Don't try to take a mile after taking an inch. Yunyi, you said that I drugged you. Show me some evidence. If you don't have evidence, don't slander me like this." The two of them quarreled all the way home. At night, Jiang Zhao barged into Yi Er's bedroom with his pillow. Yi Er said in surprise, "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to sleep." Jiang Zhao threw the pillow on the bed confidently, lifted the blanket and went to sleep. As soon as he fell asleep, he hugged his wife and wrapped his legs around Yi Er. Finally, he closed his eyes and fell asleep. No matter how much Yi Er pinched, twisted, or pushed him, the man slept like a pig as if he had been drugged with sleeping pills. "Jiang Zhao, if you don't go back to your room to sleep, I'll go out to look for a place to stay tomorrow and won't come back." Jiang Zhao immediately rubbed his eyes and sat up as if he had just woken up. He got out of bed and left the room in a few steps. Yi Er sighed and was about to get out of bed and close the door when Jiang Zhao came in with a digital camcorder. He took out the card inside and inserted it into the computer on the table for Yi Er to see. Then he burrowed under the blanket again and poked his head out. He said, "Yunyi, take a look for yourself. What did you promise me last night when you wanted to sleep with me? I reminded you not to think with your lower body. What did you say? You said you would admit it. If you didn't say you wouldn't divorce me. You said you wouldn't separate from me." Yi Er would have been better off if she hadn't seen it. The moment she saw that extremely restrictive scene, her whole body heated up. Oh my god, this guy actually recorded it. Did he have any shame? Did he still have any shame? How could he have the nerve to record something like this? Welfare Song Shu 566. Chapter 644. He wanted to crawl under the bed and hide under the bed. Jiang Zhao couldn't take it anymore. Although he was exhausted last night, the scene was replaying now. The scene was revisited and the scene was replaying in his mind. He sighed. Honey, let's go to sleep. When he heard the sound from the computer suddenly stop, he thought Yi-Er was going to turn off the computer and go to sleep. But when he got up, he saw that the computer was deleting. He jumped up from the bed, hugged the computer and hid by the door. He didn't click on the confirmation button and immediately exited. It wasn't easy for him to get this result. How could it be deleted just like that? What a pity. It was such a shocking video. Jiang Zhao ejected the memory card from the computer and put the computer on Yi-Er's dressing table. Honey, let's go to sleep. Jiang Zhao, come and sleep. If you dare to sleep in my bed tonight, I promise to go out and look for a place to live tomorrow. Anyway, this house is a wolf's den. Who knows what you'll do to me next day? Yi-Er got on the bed and laid down. Come and sleep. Jiang Zhao heard Yi-Er's calm tone, and his heart tightened. He couldn't be thick-skinned anymore. He squeezed the memory card in his hand and said, "Good night." Then he turned and walked out the door. Jiang Zhao returned to his room. He lay on the bed and couldn't fall asleep. Love a person needs how long? Hate a person needs how long? From love to hate a person needs how long? After hate, will you continue to love? The room was very quiet. He turned off almost all the electrical appliances and the doors and windows were closed. But his watch was on the bedside table. The sound of the mechanical gears was infinitely amplified in his ears. It was like a big gear in a big processing plant making an unpleasant sound. It felt like someone was stuck in the gears. The gears kept turning and the person was crushed into a bloody mess, screaming in pain. He didn't understand why he would think of such a scene. Just as he said to Ouyang Sheng, his work and life were greatly affected because of that incident. He had to think about how to make Yi-Er laugh almost every day. Human nature was not like this, but it had to be like this. He didn't know how much he loved her, but he knew that she hated him. Now, he was like a person standing outside a large gear, feeling like someone was going to push him in. That bloody and mangled appearance was really disgusting. He started to hate himself. I hate myself now. Southern Family Garden Zhou Li was applying her makeup in front of the mirror. Yuan Shichang stood behind her and held her shoulder. Xiaoli, there's hope. His words were full of emotion and relief. The family Ouyang servants released some shocking news. Your daughter caught Jiang Zhao in bed and even hit the Ouyang Yan. Her face was so swollen that she still hasn't gone to work. It's not surprising that no one knows about Ouyang Sheng's nephew, but have you thought about it? If this matter gets out, Jiang Zhao will be forced to divorce. Moreover, if he gets involved with the family Ouyang who has a background in the casino, Jiang Zhao's future will be affected. I don't have to be too afraid of him. Yuan Shichang was very excited as he described it vividly, but Zhou Li was already having a variety of expressions. Caught in bed? You're saying that Jiang Zhao has another woman behind Yi-Er's back? You don't know, right? Why would your daughter tell you about this? She doesn't even treat you as her mother. Zhou Li's heart was filled with bitterness. She wanted Yi-Er to get a divorce, but when she heard Yuan Shichang say that Jiang Zhao had an affair, she felt sad for Yi-Er. Before she could apply the lotion on her face, she stood up, picked up a fur coat in her bag and got ready to go out. Where are you going? Zhou Li had already reached the entrance and changed into her favorite high heels. They were a magic weapon that could add points to her temperament. I'm going to 9th Mansion. It's the middle of the night. Yuan Shichang was very unhappy. Don't tell me you're going to see Yun Hongwei? Don't think too much. Just as Jiang Zhao was tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep, he received a text message from Yi-Er. Jiang Zhao, don't do those things to me in the future. Give each other some freedom and let me liberate myself, okay? If you don't let me forget about that matter and rush to be with me again, it won't do either of us any good. I'll always be bothered and can't let it go. Actually, I really want to let it go, but I need time. Jiang Zhao looked at the text message and saw what she said. Actually, I really want to let it go too. Actually, she wanted to let it go too, but she couldn't. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, I won't interfere with you anymore. Do whatever you want to do no matter what. I'll wait for you to come back. Jiang Zhao sent this text message, deleted it and changed it. It took him nearly half an hour. He wanted to be strong and domineering. He wanted to say that he wouldn't allow it. But when it came to things like standing, it was never clear. He was the one in the wrong now. He had no position or right. What he needed was to give her time and beg for her forgiveness. The doorbell downstairs rang continuously. Yi Er knew that her father would open the door, but she still got out of bed. When Jiang Zhao heard Yi Er open the door, he also got out of bed. Yun Hongwei looked at Zhou at the door. His mouth opened, but he didn't say anything in the end. He let out a soft, trembling sigh. Mom? Jiang Zhao and Yi Er walked to the door together. Jiang Zhao spoke first. Mom, come in and have a seat. Yun Hongwei didn't say anything and made way for Zhou Li. The moment Zhou Li entered the door, she didn't even take off her high heels. She stood in the shoe-changing area, one hand gripping her bag tightly while the other was stretched out. She raised her head and slapped Jiang Zhao's face harshly. You're so shameless. Yi Er quickly grabbed Jiang Zhao, touched his face and shouted, Mom! Yi Er was a little angry. His mother knew that Jiang Zhao wouldn't fight back, but she still hit him so hard. Jiang Zhao was stunned. At the same time he saw the fire in Zhou Li's eyes and vaguely felt something. Yun Hongwei was shocked. He grabbed Zhou Li. Zhou Li! Zhou Li pushed Yun Hongwei away and glared at him. She roared fiercely, Yun Hongwei! You're useless. You didn't even leave money for your daughter when you went to jail. You couldn't afford to raise your daughter, so you made her work at a nightclub to earn money to run your lawsuit. She didn't divorce a man who was caught in bed with her. Isn't it all because of you? Because of you, this burden. Because of you, your daughter had to swallow her anger when she married a man. Because she had to rely on your position as her son-in-law to feed you. You caused your daughter to be so miserable. If it weren't for someone telling me that Jiang Zhao slept with Ouyang Yan, and this Yi Er ran over to make a fuss and even hit Ouyang Yan, I still wouldn't know about this. You'd still be living with them every day. Do you have a conscience? You're staying outside to eat and drink. Do you have a conscience? Can you eat and sleep? Jiang Zhao only felt a loud bang in his head. It was a loud bang that blew up his nerves. Yi Er hurriedly hugged Yun Hongwei, who was about to collapse, and cried out in grief, Mom! Shut up. Zhou Li. Go away. You shut up. Jiang Zhao returned to his senses. He took a large step forward and used even more strength to support Yun Shicheng's body. Yun Hongwei felt like he couldn't breathe or breathe. His chest was blocked by a surging metallic stench that wanted to rush out like magma. The pain was so intense that he felt like his life was about to end. At this time he felt that the tears that flowed out of his eyes would definitely be bright red. He never thought that his existence would cause his daughter to live so bitterly. Yun Hongwei struggled to pry open Jiang Zhao's hands. Looking into his eyes were filled with pain that made him wish he was dead, but his voice was already weak. Jiang Zhao, I'm begging you. Divorce Yi Er. I'm begging you. Fresh blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Like a plum blossom blooming in winter, it dripped onto the bright and clean floor tiles of the shoe-changing area. The smell of blood suddenly filled the air, causing Yi Er to cry like a madman. This was the second time Yun Hongwei had been hospitalized after being released from prison. Both times it was due to excessive stimulation. However, Yi Er understood that there was only one person who could give her father this kind of stimulation. That person was her mother, Zhou Li. A person's unbearable heartache for another person was because they cared. Her father cared about her mother's every word. While those words added fuel to the fire of her past suffering, they also expressed her mother's serious contempt and disdain for her father. Her father cared about the pain she had suffered in the past. Catch the traitor in bed? There was no need to say anything else that hurt his self-esteem. This was enough to make a father grieve. No man could accept his own daughter being a prostitute, and the purpose of being a prostitute was to help him run a lawsuit. No matter how dignified a man was, he would still be suppressed by these words. Hearing the sound of the ambulance again, smelling the smell of disinfectant that she had inhaled because of her father, Yi Er stared blankly at Zhou Li in the quiet and eerie corridor outside the resuscitation room. She didn't let Zhou Li leave. She let Jiang Zhao forcefully drag Zhou Li to the hospital. Yi Er pulled Zhou Li from Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao held Yi Er's arm and said, Yunyi, calm down, okay? Dad will be fine. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao and shook her head gently. Zhao, don't come over. I want to talk to my mom. Jiang Zhao let go of her hand. He was so annoyed that he wanted to go to the corridor to smoke a cigarette, but he didn't dare to turn around. He only nodded at Yi Er. Go ahead. I won't go over. Yi Er dragged Zhou Li out of the resuscitation room with great force. Zhou Li was even a little scared. She had been scared when she saw Yun Hongwei vomiting blood and falling to the ground. Yi Er's tears kept welling up in her eyes, but she didn't let the tears that symbolized weakness escape her eyes. She looked into Zhou Li's eyes and saw the pain of struggling, but the corners of her lips curled up. Mom, when Dad vomited blood, it must have been very nice to watch, right? It was so exciting, wasn't it? You must think that this was the most meticulous and soul-stirring performance you've ever seen in your life, right? A man who has loved you for so many years finally had his pride hurt by you. He was beaten so badly that he couldn't even raise his head. You must feel a great sense of accomplishment, right? Look, he's inside. There must be a lot of tubes inserted. It's all thanks to you. Zhou Li had never seen Yi Er like this. Yi Er had always been unreasonable since she was young, so she still respected her parents. At this moment, she saw that Yi Er's eyes were filled with disgust for her. Those words were filled with deep disdain. Zhou Li suddenly felt that her heart was a little empty. Yi Er, Mom didn't do it on purpose. Mom heard about what happened to Jiang Zhao and got angry in a moment of anger. No matter how much resentment Jiang Zhao had in his heart, Zhou Li was still his mother-in-law. At a time like this, he could only listen to Yi Er. Yi Er said to take Zhou Li to the hospital, so he did as he was told. Yi Er said to catch Zhou Li. He didn't allow her to leave, so he did as he was told. Yi Er didn't want him to go over and stand by her side, so he could only do as he was told. Awesome novel Song Shu 566. Chapter 645. However, the fear and uneasiness in her heart grew stronger and stronger. It was as if her heartbeat had been placed in a secret dark room. The sound echoed loudly in the dark area, creating a terrifying rhythm that made one's heart and soul tremble. Looking at Yi Er's expression, perhaps only he knew what Yun Hongwei, Si Jie, and Yi Er meant to her. Yi Er had always hoped to have a family with her family. She had said before that she wanted to have a family. She needed that little bit of warmth to penetrate her. She wanted to get back the things she had lacked in the past, the life she had lost when she was 17 years old. Those were very important to her, and they would make her feel at ease. Angry? Yi Er's spirit seemed to have suffered a huge blow. She hugged Zhou Li's shoulders tightly. She was very tall, and Zhou Li was not necessarily taller than her even though she was wearing high heels. Instead of hugging her shoulders, it was more accurate to say that she was tightly strangling her. Mom? Yi Er chuckled. Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed to say Mom didn't do it on purpose to me? Do you feel at ease when the word Mom comes out of your mouth? You asked if Dad has a conscience. What about you? What right do you have? Yi Er bent her back and rested her head on Zhou Li's shoulder. She pressed her lips against the side of Zhou Li's face, who was already trembling slightly. She moved closer to Zhou Li's ear, and her voice was filled with hatred. There were 2 doors to the emergency room. The upper half was made of glass and there was a curtain on the inside. At this moment, the 2 women were standing together. Their faces were so close that their images were reflected on the glass of the curtain. Zhou Li was afraid of Yi Er like this. Actually, Yi Er was just being naughty, but she was very filial to her parents. There was no lack of good things in the rich, but every time she received a gift from someone, she would never forget to share it with her parents. Zhou Li was trembling slightly. Yi Er, right. Sorry? Are you saying it to me? Or are you saying it to yourself? That's funny. Actually, I just want to ask you. Just now at my house, what right do you have to talk about my dad like that? Yi Er said, my father is at home. Zhou Li's lips were still trembling. She realized that Yi Er wanted to embarrass and humiliate her. She wanted to break free, but Yi Er felt her buttons moving, so he tightened his grip. Yi Er said slowly, You? What right do you have to be angry at Jiang Zhao? Because you said he slept with another woman? He's my man. He did something wrong to me, so it's only right that I hit him. What about you? What right do you have to hit him? Mother-in-law? Did you come when we had our wedding banquet? Have you ever drunk from him? If it was my father who hit him today, I would have nothing to say. I would even kneel down and beg my father not to be angry. I hid it from him because I didn't want him to worry. But you, I don't think it's necessary. You don't have the right to hit Jiang Zhao. You don't even have the right to call him shameless. Jiang Zhao did everything that you should have done for me. You should be grateful to him. Grateful that he took me as a burden and didn't drag you down, right? If it wasn't for Jiang Zhao taking me in, aren't you afraid that I would be forced to look for you in desperation? Han Jiang Zhao could hear it. He was standing not far away. He exhaled and turned around. His palms slowly clenched into fists. The more he clenched them, the tighter they became. Yier's choked and trembling voice hammered at his heart. Pain. Jolie opened her mouth in shock. Her eyes were getting more and more wet. She couldn't tell if the curtain behind the glass was white or light blue. Yier laughed self-deprecatingly. Now you care? Now you're saying that you're angry? You said that I sat in a nightclub? Stage. I sat in a nightclub? Why didn't you get angry when I was on stage? I caught Jiang Zhao sleeping with another woman. Just because of that, you have the right to be angry? You didn't get angry when he saved me from the gangster's knife. You didn't get angry when he snatched me back from under the wheels of the killer. You didn't get angry when he found a better school for Sijia. You didn't get angry when he married me. You didn't get angry when he gave me a big house to live in. You didn't get angry when he put his money in my hands. You didn't get angry when he put up with pressure to get my father out for medical treatment. Now that there's some trouble, you're angry? If you're angry, you'll anger my father to death too. You'll be satisfied. Yier's voice was very low. He was like a ghost in the dark night, casting a suffocating curse. Jolie's body started to tremble. You said that you're angry. Tell me why? Because you love me? Because you care about me? Because you're afraid that I'll be wronged? You heard that my man is having an ambiguous relationship with another woman. You're upset, you're heartbroken. You think that since I'm your daughter can't bear to be wronged? Yier sniffed hard and looked at the reflection in the glass. You said that I'm living in silence. Madame Zhou, do you know that before I met Jiang Zhao, I was living in silence even more than I am now? Do you know that? Do you know why I had to suffer in silence in the past? Because I don't have a mother, my father is in prison, and I don't have any skills. I can only work as a waiter in a nightclub. You said that my father is a burden, but I don't think he's a burden at all. Do you think he wants to be like this? He's a gentle man. He's smart and can do business, but he can't do it now because he's carrying a case. But I'm still willing to look up to him like before. Because he never gave up on me. When he was at his toughest, he also wanted me to live well. When you say that he's useless, how useless are you? He's afraid that his daughter will put herself in danger. Every time I visit him in prison, he always says that he's fine. But do you know what kind of life there is? In order to make him confess, those people will do anything. In the past, I didn't know why I rarely saw my father in the summer. Now I understand. He doesn't wear much in the summer. He's always injured. He's afraid that I'll be sad if I see him. I believe that he'll suffer more humiliation, but he never told me that last time he was beaten to the point that he couldn't get out of bed. I went to see him, but he didn't want to see me. I saw him in pain on the bed from the surveillance camera. In that kind of environment, he still comforted me. He said that he'll be fine. He told me not to cause trouble for him. He told me to go to school, but I still wanted to save him. Madame Zhou, do you know why? Because every time he comforted me, he let me know that I have a father. My father loves me. He loves me so much that he doesn't let me run around. I feel love. A father's love for his daughter. When I'm loved and cared for, I have a lot of motivation to do things without hesitation. Yier sobbed. I believe that those people not only tortured him physically but also mentally. He's changed a lot. I never knew that he had a heart problem. I never knew that he would talk about something like this. He's like an old man going through menopause. But he's still so young. The last time I went to the market with him, when someone locked the moped, his face suddenly changed. He grabbed my arm in fear, but he refused to say anything. I saw that he was trembling. I followed his gaze and saw that the person locked the moped with a metal chain. The sound of the metal chain made him afraid. That night he sat in the living room, turned on the lights and kept watching TV. I stayed by his side until dawn. He needs me very much. I feel that I'm his pillar of support. He's no longer the Yun Hongwei of the past. Do you have to be so bent on killing him? At least he treated you well. At least he didn't want to drag you down when he was in trouble. He never wanted to be anyone's burden. No matter how much you look down on him, he's still my father. But no matter how I look at it, I feel that he's more than worthy of you. Because I need him more than I need you. I believe that Jeff feels the same way. Yier looked at the blurry scene in front of her. She really wanted to bite off the woman's ear, but she still had some rationality left. She couldn't. Ms. Zhou, since you hate us so much, don't appear in front of us again, okay? Actually, I don't need you. You feel sorry for me. You're angry at Jiang Zhao. You hit him, but I feel that he loves me more than you do. Why do you have to make your stand clear? I really don't need you. Yier suddenly laughed hard. Do you think that it's easy to snatch Jia after angering my father to death? You're wrong. I'll make Jia not want to be with you. Maybe I'll even make him hate you. Don't force me to do that. You know that I, his sister, I am more important to him than you, his mother. Jolie covered her mouth. Her face was already full of tears. Ye smiled. She didn't wipe the tears from her face. Instead, she reached out and wiped the tears from Jolie's face. She smiled happily. Mom. She called out softly, don't cry. You're such a beautiful person. How many men's hearts will break when you cry? Look, you don't look much older than your daughter. If you cry too much, you'll have wrinkles on your face and you won't be beautiful anymore. Once you're not beautiful, men won't like you. If you're abandoned, even if my father wants to treat you like before, he won't have the ability to provide for you. What will you do? Take good care of yourself and keep fit. Make sure that your face doesn't change shape. Don't add wrinkles to it. Don't let it fade away. This was the first time Ye had used such vicious words since she met Jolie again. She didn't care about the other party's feelings. She sighed and looked up. God, if you think I'm unfilial, strike me with lightning when I leave the house later and kill me. Jolie immediately covered Ye's mouth. Ye, don't say that. Don't say that. Ye was still hugging Jolie. She slowly slapped her hand away. Don't worry. If I'm still alive tomorrow, it means that God agrees with what I said. Jiang Zhao kept listening. He promised Ye that he wouldn't go over, but he didn't know how long Ye was going to say this. He didn't know if those words could hurt a woman like Jolie, but he knew that Ye's heart must be completely broken. Without asking for Ye's permission, Jiang Zhao went over and pried her hands off Jolie's shoulders. He pulled her into his arms. Yun Yi, after calling Ye's name, she felt her mouth dry. She opened her mouth and stroked Ye's back. After a while she said, go ahead and cry. If someone says no noise, I'll carry you to the rooftop and cry, okay? Sob. Ye hugged Jiang Zhao's waist tightly. I don't want to go to the rooftop. Sob, I want to stay here. I want to wait for the doctor to say that Dad is out of danger. Sob. Attention Hongcha 866. Chapter 646. Alright, then you can cry here. If anyone dares to criticize you, I will use my power to suppress them. Let's see what they can do. Cry, cry. Ye sank deeper into Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao stroked Ye's back. His gaze was as sharp as a knife. He looked at Jolie. He did not say anything, but his eyes told Jolie that he wanted to kill her. Jolie trembled. This time, after Yun Hongwei was hospitalized, Ye did not stay by his side like before. She hired a nurse and went to the dance studio in high spirits. She went to class and visited the hospital once at night before going home. She knew that if she stayed by his side at the hospital, Jiang Zhao would come to the hospital. She did not have much to do now, but Jiang Zhao was really busy. He needed to rest well. The two of them still slept in separate rooms, but they ate and went out together every day. Before they went to bed at night, they said good night to each other. Jiang Zhao felt that as long as they did not get a divorce, their days would be peaceful and would get better. Unknowingly, it was already mid-February. Ye and Jiang Zhao did not return to Jiang District to officiate their wedding. Jiang Zhao did not insist on it either. It was not the right time to bring it up. Ye's dance studio was opened. Her work had not been sorted out yet, so she had to do a lot of things by herself. Especially when it came to finance, she had to come up with a lot of packages. It was very troublesome to calculate the money. Ye felt that she had to ask Jiang Zhao properly when she got home at night on how to solve the financial problems. Xiaoye's custom-made dance studio was just opposite Ye. Ye was very busy, but Xiaoye was not. Zhuang Yichen had helped her manage her career very smoothly. She had matured a long time ago. So Xiaoye always went to Ye's dance studio to look for Ye. After finding out about Yun Hongwei's hospitalization, Xiaoye was much more principled than before. She would always say in front of her, actually, a woman should find a reliable man. It's really impossible to live without a man at home. Jiang Zhao is really a good person. You're so lucky. Men like that are rare nowadays. Ye just smiled and said, he is indeed a good guy. You shouldn't always be single. Yes, I will also find a man to marry. Ye was checking the accounts at the cashier counter. She had been talking to Xiaoye with her head lowered. At this moment, she looked up in surprise. Oh, you changed your mind pretty quickly. A few months ago, you said that you didn't want to get married. Seeing you women who have husbands so happy, I'm also envious. Ah, Ye laughed. Then she suddenly sighed and said, sigh, every family has its own difficulties. She didn't think that Jiang Zhao was bad, but that incident was still a knot in her heart. She could forbid anyone from talking about him and despising him, but she couldn't bring herself to not mind it. even though she really wanted to forget that memory. Apply for a card. When Yi Er came back to her senses, there was a woman in front of her. She hadn't seen this woman in a long time. The finger marks on her face had disappeared. Yi Er didn't tell Xiaoya about this before. After all, it was something that would hurt her reputation. So Xiaoya smiled and said, "Business is really good." Yi Er didn't respond. She just looked at Ouyang Yen. Ouyang Yen smiled gently and said, "What's the matter? You're open for business but you don't dare to do it?" Xiaoya could hear the hostility in her words. She felt that something was wrong, but what was wrong? How can that be? Open for business means open for business. "Miss, why would you apply for a card?" Xiaoya didn't regard herself as an outsider and helped Yi Er drum up business. Yi Er wanted to stop her, but it was too late. An annual card. It's from the GB standard. Ouyang Yen took out a credit card from her bag and handed it to Yi Er. Yi Er took a deep breath. With Xiaoya around, she didn't want to make things ugly with Ouyang Yen. If word of this reached Zhuang Yichen's ears, all men would lose face. Pull the card and get Ouyang Yen to sign it. Ouyang Yen signed it and handed it to Yi Er. Yi Er took the cash register and compared it with the signature. When she saw the two words, her expression changed. It was actually Jiang Zhao's card. They were still in contact? The cash register in her hand was already crumpled, but she still handed it to Ouyang Yen. Ouyang Yen looked at Yi Er provocatively and revealed a victorious smile. Before Jiang Zhao got off work, he received a call from the Qin family urging him to go back to the Qin family mansion after work. He tidied up the things on the table and called Yi Er, telling her that he would pick her up for dinner at the Qin family mansion. Yi Er said that she wanted to go to the hospital to accompany her father, but she refused. Jiang Zhao said that he would get someone to send food over later. Yi Er agreed. These few months Jiang Zhao had been very tense and tired. He could guess why she was going back to the Qin family mansion, so he prepared for the worst. The atmosphere in the Qin family mansion wasn't tense. During dinner, everyone was happy and harmonious. Qin Fian and Zhuo Hao were both there, but there were only Qin Rongfang, Qin Fian, Zhuo Hao and Jiang Zhao who had just returned home. "Zhao Zhao, you must be tired out during this period of time, right?" Qin Rongfang ate in small bites. Firstly, he was a scholar, and secondly, he was old and had a slow appetite. Jiang Zhao glanced at Qin Fian and Zhuo Hao and guessed the atmosphere. "Grandpa, you're worried." "It's been good." "Has your father-in-law woken up?" "Not yet," Jiang Zhao said honestly. "Okay, take good care of him." Qin Rongfang had a small appetite. After a while, he stopped picking up his chopsticks and drank his after-dinner tea. Jiang Zhao, Qin Fian, and Zhuo Hao buried their heads in their food and didn't say anything. There's one good thing about having a big family. There are many brothers and sisters and we can take care of each other. It's very good. I'm also very gratified. Our family is different from the other wealthy families. As Qin Rongfang sipped his tea, he looked at his three grandsons who were eating with their heads lowered and began to murmur to himself. The other wealthy families have different surnames such as direct grandson, eldest grandson, inner surname and outer surname. Our family doesn't have that. I treat everyone the same. In the future, none of my grandchildren will be short. Qin Rongfang's hair and eyebrows were all silver. At this time, his hair shone like snow under the light. His eyes held a loving smile, but his three grandchildren didn't raise their heads to look at him. He sighed softly. "There's nothing I can't figure out. After living for so long, all my children and grandchildren are considered talents. Although Fian is often angry to the point of blowing his beard and glaring, but he's actually more mature." Qin Fian knew that when his grandfather said this comparison, what he was most dissatisfied with was his sexual orientation. "Zhao Zhao and Hao Hao are also very filial to me. They're not worse than their own grandfather. I'm actually gratified. There aren't many grandfathers who can be as comfortable as me. Fian doesn't need to say anything. She's obedient and sensible. It's just that she's too soft-hearted. I'm worried that she'll be taken advantage of when she grows up." Jiang Zhao finally felt his heart getting heavier and heavier. Qin Rongfang had always been like this. The bigger the matter, the more he would downplay it. He would definitely make others feel like their hearts were being bitten by dogs and wolves before he would talk about serious matters. Qin Fian raised his head to look at Jiang Zhao. He winked at him and then deliberately pushed his glasses up to avoid Qin Rongfang's discerning eyes. Jiang Zhao looked at Zhuo Hao again. Zhuo Hao smiled. The three of them buried their heads in the delicious food again. "Sai, the one I'm most worried about is Feiyu. When I die, the three of you will be wearing the same pair of pants. You still have to take care of your sister. Don't just let the three of you play secretly and let others bully her." Here we go again, the three of them said in unison. Qin Fian sat next to Qin Rongfang. He stood up and took the kettle to refill Qin Rongfang's tea. Then he put down the kettle and patted Qin Rongfang's shoulder. He sat down and said, "Grandfather, don't worry. I'll definitely take good care of Feiyu. I'll protect her by my side and be an old maid for life." Qin Rongfang couldn't hold it in any longer. Every time this happened, Qin Fian would always be the first to jump out and ruin the atmosphere. It wasn't easy for him to create such emotions. He slapped Qin Fian's hand away and said, "Get lost. Don't think that your sister will end up like you." Actually, the three of them all knew that the person they were going to judge today was Jiang Zhao. So Zhuahao rushed to say, "Grandfather, tomorrow I'll introduce an officer to Feiyu. You can become a great-grandfather earlier, okay?" Qin Rongfang slammed the table in anger. He didn't even care about his immortal aura anymore. Nonsense. Feiyu is only a few years old. You want to be a great-grandfather now? Are you trying to harm her? Jiang Zhao didn't answer. Qin Rongfang waited for a while. Jiang Zhao didn't answer. He knew that none of his grandsons were rabbits. They were all foxes. "Zhao Zhao, don't you have any objections?" Jiang Zhao looked like he was enjoying his food. He waited until all the food had gone into his stomach before saying, "Why don't we ask Feiyu if she's in a relationship? Why don't we bring her boyfriend home to take a look?" Qin Rongfang's silver eyebrows were about to turn green with anger. He didn't want to talk about this at all. His main thought was that the three of them were in cahoots. They were working together to deceive this old man. Were they trying to act dumb? "Tell me, what have you been doing these past few months?" Jiang Zhao wiped the corners of his mouth with a napkin and smiled. "I'm the eldest. I'll go first." Jiang Zhao coughed. "I'm laying the foundation for my next promotion to the standing committee. I won't go into the details. The business of my two companies is getting more and more important. I want to hire a CEO, so there are a lot of chores at home. Luckily, Yunyi is taking care of me a lot, so I'm not too distracted." Qin Fian raised his hand. "I'm number 2. Brother, I'm done talking. I said that the land that I wanted to get for Route 326 was taken by the Shi family and I felt uncomfortable about it. Brother showed me the blueprint for Route 2 and I circled a few pieces of land to watch the auction. Last month, I won one of them and I still want to get 2 pieces of land from the other 2 prime locations. My focus is on this because the company's other businesses are going well and I don't have to worry too much. Oh right, another company is holding a press conference for their high-end swimming product this month." Zhuahao said, "Then it's my turn. There's a real combat exercise at the end of January, so I've been busy with these things for a while." Qin Rongfang slammed the table. "Enough. Have you brats learned how to play dumb now? Have you learned how to play dumb? Are you trying to anger me to death?" Jiang Zhao said with a smile, "Grandpa, we want you to live for 1,000 years. Am I an old monster?" After Qin Rongfang finished speaking, he snorted. "Jiang Zhao, how do you explain the family Ouyang incident? Grandpa already knows, so there's no need to explain, right?" Jiang Zhao took a sip of his after-dinner tea. Qin Rongfang's angry expression changed and he said seriously, "Have you ever thought about the position of the Qin family when you worked together to destroy the family Ouyang? What did the Qin family of Haiqing rely on to be the number 1 family in Haiqing? The Qin family is not like Shi Jintian in the underworld. Not only did he rely on his power, he relied on his benevolence. I've been the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce for so many years. Every year, I've said that all the major families and companies should support each other and advance and retreat together. At least the Qin family's image to the outside world is positive. But soon there will be rumors in Haiqing that the Qin family wants to be the only big family and can't tolerate the family Ouyang. That's why they destroyed the family Ouyang." Qin Fian pushed his glasses up his nose. "Grandpa, you can't blame us for this. You're the older generation, so it's not convenient for you to take action. We don't have any friendship with Ouyang Shen." Ad. Songshu 566. Chapter 647. Zhuahao was a handsome and resolute soldier. He was more serious than Qin Fian when he spoke. "Grandpa, if we intervene in this matter, my brother will do it alone. It will be easier for him to get into trouble. It's not like you don't know his temper. He did this because he couldn't take it lying down. If you want to talk about taking the big picture into consideration, we've already taken the big picture into consideration." Jiang Zhao was the last to speak this time. He looked at Qin Rongfang's reproachful eyes and said, "Grandpa, if you want to blame someone, you can only blame me. It has nothing to do with Fian and Haozi. Because of that matter, my life has been completely messed up. I should have gone back to Jiang District to officiate the wedding, but I didn't go back. The family isn't peaceful and I can't even devote myself to work. Ouyang Xing went to the building to threaten me. Actually, after being threatened by him, I thought about the situation in Haiqing and tolerated it if I could. The problem was that I couldn't tolerate the series of things that happened after that. Qin Rongfang knew that the situation was irreversible. In the past few months, the family Ouyang had encountered major problems one after another. There were product quality issues, illegal buildings being demolished, financial deficits being reported in advance, share prices plummeting, capital chain problems, workers going on strike, and recently, even the project with the Zhuo family had problems. The family Ouyang couldn't get a loan, and Ouyang Yu couldn't use his connections to help Ouyang Jian get a loan. They couldn't continue working with the Zhuo family. The termination of the contract was considered a breach of contract, but when something happened when the project was about to end, the Zhuo family was the one who benefited. The outside world couldn't see anything fishy, but he knew his grandson's roundabout methods and methods. You're a man. What can't you tolerate? Didn't I ask you to marry Ouyang Yan before the divorce? Then wouldn't it be better to avoid trouble? Grandpa, is it possible to solve this matter by avoiding unnecessary trouble? Must you ruin Ouyang Sheng's reputation, and then the matter between you and that girl from the Yun family will be resolved. Even if it can't be resolved, I have to do this. Jiang Zhao's tone was calm at first, but it became more and more unyielding. He seemed to have forgotten that he was talking to an extremely prestigious elder. Qin Rongfang patted his chest. I'm so angry. Qin Fian reached out and patted Qin Rongfang's back. He knew that his grandfather was exaggerating a little, so he did the same. The action of patting the back was big and light, so it was useless. Grandpa, it's not that I want to criticize you, but being the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce is indeed a good thing. Can't you just sit there with your back straight and not feel guilty? Now, someone is saying that the Qin family is having a family Ouyang? Did anyone say that I was taking revenge? No one said that, so why are you so anxious? Seeing that Qin Rongfang was so anxious, Qin Fian smiled and continued, besides, we are your grandsons. What kind of deep friendship do you have with Ouyang Sheng? You have a good relationship with the Shi family, so when Unwu stole the land I wanted, I didn't even spare a fart. That's different, isn't it? Qin Rongfang glared at Qin Fian. Stop patting, it's worse than scratching an itch. Qin Fian raised his hand. Fine, I'm sorry, Grandpa. Zhao, where it's possible to make mistakes, let it go. Let it go? Give him a chance to come back from the dead and retaliate? Jiang Zhao chuckled lightly. Grandpa, I never thought of letting it go. Qin Fian recklessly interjected, Grandpa, I'll support brother to the end. Why don't you go abroad to relax? What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. Zhuo agreed. Grandpa, why don't you pick a place with better scenery to relax? You bunch of stinks. Kid. I've already said so much and you still don't know how to repent. Grandpa, I don't think I've done anything wrong, so I don't want to change. Jiang Zhao leaned back. His voice was light, but his gaze was firm. Qin Fian added, Grandpa, as the saying goes, don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Don't tell me you encountered something like this in the past? Would you have tolerated it? In any case, I don't think brother did anything wrong. If you don't like it, just turn a blind eye and pretend you don't know. Qin Rongfang closed his eyes. It's easier for me to just close my eyes. Then the three of us will send you back to your room to rest. All of you leave. We'll take our leave. Qin Fian stood up with a smile and gestured to Jiang Zhao and Zhuo Hao. The three of them left the hall. Zhuo Hao patted Jiang Zhao's shoulder and said somewhat mockingly, Brother, about this matter, I actually think you were a little too harsh. Ouyang Sheng was so angry that he was hospitalized again. There are even blisters on his mouth. Jiang Zhao laughed. I wasn't the only one who did it. You were the one who was the most ruthless. Don't forget, the Zhuo family is the one who really profited. I remember you told me before that you wanted to ask Big Brother Jiang to build a 7-star hotel for him. Look at how anxious you are now. He keeps spitting out money and it doesn't even go into your pocket. It's not worth it. Qin Fian bumped into Jiang Zhao. We can't wait. If we want to do it flawlessly, it'll take too long to contact him. Brother, you said that even Grandpa noticed it. How can Ouyang Xing not notice it? Zhuo Hao was a little worried. He stopped in the courtyard and looked sideways at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao shook his head. If he had guessed it, with his arrogant and conceited personality, he would have made a fuss long ago. Didn't we set up so many smoke bombs and side projects to cause him to be confused? He's probably suspecting the provincial party committee now. Moreover, Dad acquiesced to this matter and covered for me, so Ouyang Xing can't be that sensitive. Qin Fian pushed up his glasses and laughed. At critical times, Grandpa is not as forthright as uncle-in-law. As soon as Qin Fian finished speaking, something hit him in the back. Before he could turn around, Qin Rongfang walked over quickly. "Little bastard, how dare you speak ill of me behind my back?" Qin Fian took a step to hide behind Jiang Zhao. Qin Rongfang pointed at his nose and scolded, "If you don't give birth to a child of the Qin family by next year, I won't strip you naked. You'll be hung at Haiqing's toll booth for public display." Jiang Zhao had heard Qin Rongfang say this more than once. He held the old man's shoulder and suggested in a friendly manner, "Grandpa, why don't I help you contact the art school's teachers and say that they'll let Fian's body be a model for the students and charge them some money? Who knows, maybe they can even make a fortune. Maybe people from other places will come because of your reputation." Qin Fian pretended to be angry and said, Brothers are used to betray others, aren't they?" Qin Rongfang didn't continue this topic. "Zhao Ouyang Xing isn't easy to deal with. If he finds out that you're messing with him behind his back, his connections aren't to be trifled with. I know things are almost done. This time Ouyang Xing is under investigation. Once the bank connection is cut, it'll be difficult for him to even think about it. Ouyang Xing just moved his company to another city before the new year. Ouyang Hai has no one who can really help him." Qin Rongfang sighed. "Ask that girl from the Yun family to come over often for dinner. I'll ask Qin Zhen to persuade her another day. It'll be easier for women to talk when they're together." Okay. The next day Qingming Festival. Jiang Zhao left the house early. The radio kept talking about Qingming Festival. She was thinking about what gift to buy for Yi Er that night. However, just as Yi Er picked up her bag and was about to leave, the doorbell rang. She opened the door and felt disgusted. "What are you doing here?" "I'm looking for second brother." "What's the matter?" "I'm pregnant." Yi Er tightened her grip on the handbag, feeling a little breathless. She hurriedly turned around to hide her expression from Ouyang Yan's eyes. She placed her handbag on the counter in the shoe-changing area, opened it and took out her makeup bag. She stood up straight and looked at the small mirror in her hand to reapply her eyebrows and lips. However, when she saw that her face in the mirror had gained some color, she thought about the credit card that belonged to Jiang Zhao on the cash register yesterday. She bit down on her heart, but she quickly calmed down on the surface. She casually took out her phone and dialed a number. She said gently, "Hello, hubby. Your mistress is waiting for you at home. Do you want to book a couple's private room? It's so hard to book a table today." When Jiang Zhao received the call and heard Yi Er call him hubby, he was stunned and smiled like a happy child in front of Lu Cheng, who was still reporting work. However, what she said next made his expression turn colder and colder. He propped up his chin at Lu Cheng and gestured for him to leave. The woman's voice on the phone was still smiling like a spring breeze, but he could hear the stiffness in her voice. "You're going to be a father. Are you excited? Your mistress has brought you and her baby here to look for you." "Yun Yi, what nonsense are you talking about?" "What mistress? She was fine this morning." "Ouyang Yan, isn't she your mistress?" "But a mother's status rises because of her son. I'm afraid she won't be your mistress soon. She'll be Mrs. Jiang, right? I have something to do today. I'm hanging up." Jiang Zhao's throat was on fire and he couldn't make a sound. When he took a sip of water and was about to speak, Yi Er had already hung up. When he called again, her phone was turned off. Yi Er hung up the phone and smiled at Ouyang Yan, who was standing at the door. "Oh, how should I address you?" "Mistress, miss?" "My husband will probably be back soon. Wait for him at the door." After packing up her bag, she realized that Ouyang Yan was still staring at her with a smile on her face. Her smile was like spring water, so gentle that it made one want to hold it in their hands and drink it into their stomach. The corners of her mouth were slightly curled up. She was the perfect example of a lady from a wealthy family. No one could find any flaws in her. This green TB*TCH had always been AB*TCH like a jasmine flower. Ouyang Yan wanted to enter the door, but Yi Er pushed her and closed the door. He stood at the door and glanced at Ouyang Yan, who staggered and leaned against the wall. He sneered and said, "Be careful. This house was under my name when I bought it. This is a single-story villa. The place you're standing now is my territory. You came to my house without my invitation. Are you trying to steal something?" "Steal?" Ouyang Yan slowly stood up straight and regained her composure. However, she suddenly smiled mockingly. "Do I need to?" "Yes, it's my nature." Yi Er brushed past Ouyang Yan. "I have something to do." You can wait here. Ouyang Yin didn't expect Yi Er to react so indifferently after finding out that she was pregnant. Yunyi, is it fun for you to hold on to Jiang Zhao like this? Things have already come to this point. Don't you feel guilty for holding on to the title of Mrs. Jiang? Now that I'm pregnant with his child, what do you think? Yi Er was about to walk to the elevator. She admitted that she was angry with Ouyang Yin. However, when she hit Ouyang Yin last time and Jiang Zhao was whipped, she knew that her impulsiveness had caused the Qin and Jiang families to be threatened by the Ouyang family. This time she wouldn't be so foolish. The elders of the two families didn't do anything to her. She didn't need to make them angry. Attention Hongcha 866. Chapter 648. Even so, there was a limit to her patience. She turned around and glanced at Ouyang Yan's abdomen. Then she looked at her face and sneered, "What am I afraid of? I'm not pregnant. If I really get divorced, I'll still marry a good man. What about you? Are you so sure that I'll get divorced? Actually, I'm thinking right now. I won't get divorced even if I die. I'll let you bear a big belly until you give birth. As a single mother, what's so great about being able to give birth? Any woman can give birth as long as her body functions are normal. Can you give birth to a rare egg?" Yi Er stared at Ouyang Yan's belly again and sneered, "But I see that you really can only give birth to eggs when you're with a human." Ouyang Yan held her head. Too many things had happened at home recently, and she had been dealing with them all the time. Now that Yi Er had scolded her inhumane, she was annoyed and angry. "You can't even give birth to an egg." Yi Er saw that Ouyang Yan was a little angry. This woman changed so quickly. In the past, when they stood together, she really couldn't see any changes in Ouyang Yan's mood. Now that she was angry, it was so obvious. Why did she feel so happy to see this woman angry? "Haha, it's not that I can't give birth to a child. I'm different from you. I'm too young and don't want to give birth at all. We haven't even spent enough time together. Wouldn't it be troublesome to give birth to a child? I'm different from you. You'll be lonely if you're alone. You're not like me. I have a husband to eat with, chat with, sleep with, and travel with my husband every day. If you don't give birth to an egg and come out to play, I'm afraid you'll go crazy and jump off a building." Yi Er didn't continue talking to Ouyang Yan. She was just showing off. This woman was more sophisticated than her. She was no match for Ouyang Yan at all. If she stayed any longer, she would be the one who would be angry. She ignored Ouyang Yan and pressed the elevator button to leave. Ouyang Yan was really angry at Yi Er's words. Seeing the elevator door close, her watery eyes became as cold as a knife. She gritted her teeth and felt that she had always been too dignified. That was why she was defeated by Yunyi. Jiang Zhao had loved her before, but she, who had always been cautious, was not as free and easy as Yunyi. Men liked the new and hated the old. Jiang Zhao must have felt that a woman like Yunyi was fresh and exciting. She couldn't understand the so-called true nature of a man, but she knew that men were not good people. They were all eating from the bowl and looking at the pot. When Ouyang Yan left Ninth Mansion, she received a call from Jiang Zhao. "Ouyang Yan, what the hell are you doing? Second brother?" Ouyang Yan slowed down the car and laughed to herself. "Ouyang Yan? Have you forgotten that you've always called me Yun Yun? Do you want to die? Who told you to look for her?" It was just a light mockery, but when he stepped on the brakes, it turned into a guffaw. He laughed until tears came out of his eyes. She could hear the man's heavy breathing, and she could hear the sound of his teeth grinding. Since she was young, she had never seen Jiang Zhao angry. Although many people said that Jiang Zhao was not easy to get along with, and although he treated people well, he was actually a little cold and arrogant. Even so, Jiang Zhao treated her well and was almost obedient. When they were young, she was the princess that everyone worshipped. After they got together, she was the princess in his hands. He had never lost his temper and shouted at her. He even viciously said that she wanted to die, didn't she? When Yunyi hit her, not only did he not help, he even grabbed her hand and let Yunyi hit her. After so long, he didn't ask if she was doing well, but asked if she wanted to die. Laughter, cries, and the sound of falling tears. Even if Ouyang Yan cried, she had never cried like this before. Jiang Zhao had already returned to mansion number 9, but there was no one at home. He called Yi Er's cell phone, but she didn't pick up. When he called the store, the clerk who went there early said that the boss hadn't gone to work yet. It wasn't easy for him to calm down his life, but now it was a mess. He felt that God had made things for him, testing his endurance time and time again. "Do you only have Yunyi in your heart now? But I'm pregnant with your child. What should I do?" "Ah." Ouyang Yan cried and laughed as she covered her mouth. Do you want to abandon your debt and live happily ever after with Yunyi? Are you dreaming? I won't do as you wish. That's great, that's great. Yunyi must hate you to death. Why do I feel so comfortable? Ouyang Yin wanted to continue, but Jiang Zhao hung up. Jiang Zhao was worried that something would happen to Yi Er, but he wouldn't let anything happen to her. The first thing he should do now was to find her. Yi Er went to the dance studio. She needed to find something to do. She couldn't think about Ouyang Yan's pregnancy. That provocative gaze flashed in front of her, and the dark brown horsewhip lashed out in the air, causing her heart to palpitate with fear reverberating in her ears. Jiang Zhao worked from Monday to Friday. Occasionally he would work overtime on weekends. She basically knew his schedule. When he was free he would accompany her at home. The two of them would also go to the movies. Although they slept in separate rooms during this period, she felt that their relationship was becoming more normal. They were no longer like before where they wanted to win or lose in everything. Most of the time he would give in to her. Occasionally he would get a little angry, but if that was the case she would give in to him. At the end of the day neither of them wanted a divorce. Even if she minded that matter, she still couldn't bear to part with him. Especially when she felt how good he was to her. Sleeping in separate rooms must have made him hungry, right? In the past, she knew that if a man didn't have enough to eat at home, he would go out to eat. Xia Qian parked her car at the roadside. She got out of the car and called Xiaoya. Sis, I'm at Yi Er's office. I'll come over to look for you later. Xiaoya said, I'll come over to look for you guys later. After hanging up, she went to look for Yi Er. However, Xia Qian followed behind Yi Er and listened to her scolding people. First, she said that people didn't wipe the wall mirrors clean. Then she said that the voice at the reception desk was impolite. Then she said that someone was slacking off early in the morning. Xia Qian finally followed Yi Er to her office. She sighed and said, Yunyi, are you like this at home too? Jiang Zhao likes a woman like you? Oh my god, he has such strong taste. He likes a woman who nags like she's going through menopause. How can he like a woman with such a sharp tongue? Isn't this too tasteless? Yi Er had been angered by Ouyang Yan's bitch attitude this morning. Now that she was provoked by Xia Qian, she almost stomped her feet. She was paired with Jiang Zhao and Jiang Zhao was tasteless? The last time she beat up Ouyang Yan and let Ouyang Xing threaten the Jiang and Qin families, it was not what she wanted. This time she did not vent her anger. Xia Qian happened to be there. She rolled up her sleeves and pounced on Xia Qian. But when she was about to push Xia Qian to the ground and tickle her, Jiang Zhao pushed open the door of Yi Er's office. Yi Er was stunned. She rolled her eyes at Jiang Zhao and stared at him angrily. Xia Qian turned and saw Jiang Zhao. Mayor Jiang, hurry up and drag this commoner's wife out of the office. She is going to turn the world upside down. When Xia Qian said that Yi Er was a commoner, Yi Er remembered Ouyang Yan's noble and reserved manner. Who are you calling commoner? Who are you calling commoner? She stretched out her hand to strangle Xia Qian and Jiang Zhao walked over. He bent down and picked up Yi Er from the floor. He looked at her coldly. Xia Qian stood up. She was an idiot and felt the atmosphere was weird. But her instincts told her that Jiang Zhao wanted to uphold justice for her. Jiang Zhao, you better teach your wife a lesson. She does not behave like a commoner's wife at all. She is such a B*TC. It's embarrassing to bring her out. Jiang Zhao turned and looked at Xia Qian angrily. Xia Qian, seems like you are not comfortable with your internship at the TV station? Xia Qian finally realized that they were husband and wife. Her job was arranged by Jiang Zhao, and it was easy for her to get into the city television station. Many low-ranking officials and their families could not even get the chance to be an intern. Who knows how many red packets they would have to bribe them. However, she did not spend a single cent. She was a person who did not forget to dig the well. When she saw Jiang Zhao, he was her benefactor. She could not treat him as casually as she treated Yi Er. Hence, she immediately laughed and scratched her head. Haha, it's very comfortable, very comfortable. I am here today to tell Yi Er that I will be doing an interview at the city's swimming pool in a few days. You all can look for the news tomorrow. Xia Qian felt that she must show her face during this interview. She suddenly felt that she was going to be a celebrity. This feeling was too good. Yi Er shouted at Xia Qian. Lousy host. Who wants to see you? Xia Qian jumped back and raised her hand to stop him. Fine, fine, fine. I will leave first. You can come and see me again when I become an unbreakable host. I feel that your yin and yang are out of balance and you have a bad temper. I suggest you go to a doctor to recuperate. I have been following a program recently. The TV station is doing a health program that focuses on how to maintain one's health and recuperate. I suggest you take a look. Xia Qian, if you continue to stay here, I am afraid you won't be able to escape the interview at the swimming pool. Many people are trying to squeeze into that internship. Jiang Zhao had just finished speaking when Xia Qian's voice reached the corridor. I am leaving. I wish you all a blissful marriage. When Xia Qian arrived at Xiaoya's workplace, she sighed and told her about what had happened at Ye'er's place. Sis, Ye'er is so unrighteous. She actually wanted to fight with me. She is such a shrew. There was a stage in front of Xiaoya. The stage was wrapped in a wedding gown. The white gauze flowed on the ground, leaving a happy trail behind it. Xiaoya's hand was under her chin, covering the area below her nose. Her eyes were clear and bright as she stared at her work. It was as if there was a living person standing in front of her. She saw the beautiful smile on the bride's face. Although the bride had beautiful shoulder blades, her neck was a little short. The bride was also a little conservative. If the gown was changed to a V-neck, would the bride be able to accept it? There were accessories and lace on the work table. She picked up 2 pieces of luxurious hand-knitted lace and imagined how the wedding gown would look like after the change. She placed the lace on the shoulder straps and pulled it down to the cleavage at the chest. Then she picked up the sketchbook and pencil on the work table. She erased the top half of the wedding gown with an eraser and sketched seriously. The lace sleeves were slightly blistered and stretched all the way to the chest. The V-neck looked deep, but the faintly discernible lace was able to block the glow that everyone coveted. The lace on the sleeves was changed again. The density of the silk flowers was higher than the lace on the chest. The texture was soft. The bride's shoulders were too thin and the bones on her shoulders were too protruding. The lace sleeves just wrapped around the bones. Songshu 566. Chapter 649. Xiaoya looked at the draft and made a call to the client. Xia Qian thought it was boring to talk to herself, so she quietly watched Xiaoya work. Hello, Mrs. Ning, I'm Xiaoya. Yes. You too. How could I? You specifically asked me to design it myself. How could I let an employee do it? Yes, it's like this. I've changed the drawing again. I think it might be more suitable for you. Of course, I need your approval before I can change it. I'll draw a neat drawing later and send it to you. Take a look. Will it be better after I change it? Haha, no, our employees are very responsible, not just me. Okay, I'll contact you later. Xiaoya hung up the phone. Xia Qian looked at Xiaoya in a daze. Sis, you're a little schizophrenic. You're completely different at work and in real life. Xiaoya was still immersed in drawing and carefully comparing the patterns on the Lexus. Qian, when you work in the future, you have to be very serious and responsible. I've always been serious. You're just too schizophrenic. Xiaoya shook her head. It's not a split. It's an attitude towards work. Although I've never told you about my affairs and you've always acted like you don't know anything, I know very well and you've pretty much guessed it. Doing business is like growing up from a baby. We have to learn to walk and rely on others to encourage, support, and reward us. When we fall, adults will pick us up again. But during this time, we have to cherish and work hard, because it's sad to always need others' support. No one doesn't want to walk alone, then run, then climb mountains and conquer the land under their feet. Do you understand what I'm saying? Xia Qian scratched her head. I understand. It means that we can't let adults feed us. We have to learn to eat by ourselves. Sis, I think brother-in-law is very handsome. How could she not see that the man she met last time? Her sister's affairs were at the peak of her career. She rarely saw this man around her. Her sister didn't deliberately hide it. She just used it to remind her not to tell the elders at home. What if I tell you that he's not your future brother-in-law? You can find anyone to be your brother-in-law as long as that person treats you well. So you should be able to tell that Jiang Zhao actually treats Ye'er very well. For a man to allow his woman to act like a shrew in front of outsiders, it means that he loves her. You shouldn't reprimand Ye'er's character. Instead, you should envy her for finding a good husband. In the future, you should also find a man who loves you. When the time comes, I'll make you the most beautiful wedding dress and make you the most beautiful bride. Sis, what are you talking about? I don't want to get married. Why do I feel like something's wrong with you today? Something so interesting happened in Ye'er, but you don't seem to be in the mood at all. Are you hiding something from me? Xiaoya looked up. She looked at Xia Qian, who was sitting at her workbench and looking at her seriously. I always look like this when I'm working. Why did she reveal her emotions so easily now? Oh yes, I feel that Ye'er must have something on her mind today. I'm afraid she might have gotten into a fight with Jiang Zhao. Let's go over and take a look later. Ye Er is about to hit someone. If they really get into a fight, it won't be nice. Jiang Zhao is the mayor after all, and Ye Er is not rational now. As her friends, we can't let her do whatever she wants. Furthermore, she is very prideful now and I'm afraid she can't stand it anymore. Xiaoya threw her pen aside and changed into her high heels. She took her coat from the coat rack. Let's go over now. I don't want anything to happen. Xiaoya and Xia Qian had just arrived at Ye Er's store when they bumped into Ouyang Yen, who had just parked her car. Xiaoya greeted her in a friendly manner. Miss, why are you here today? Ouyang Yen saw Xiaoya. She knew her. Jiu Xiaoya. She has a lot of clothes in her house that were made in YA. But when she remembered that Xiaoya was Ye Er's friend, she gave her a cold smile and walked up the stairs. Xiaoya was slightly embarrassed. However, she was a businesswoman and had seen all kinds of rich madams, rich young ladies and official madams. She had experienced all kinds of tempers, and this was not the first time she had seen such a cold face. She quickly hid her embarrassment and took Xia Qian's arm to follow her up the stairs. Xia Qian mumbled softly. She's so arrogant. So what if she is beautiful? She might not be able to get married for the rest of her life. Xiaoya patted Ye Er's arm. Don't be so narrow-minded. Don't be so petty, okay? Think about it. When you become a host in the future, you will meet all kinds of weird people. You can't possibly criticize all of them, right? Okay. Take a step back. I understand. Ye Er's store was a small space on the first floor. One had to press the elevator or walk up the stairs to the second floor. Once the elevator opened on the second floor, one would be at the front desk. Ouyang Yen went to the front desk on the second floor. Ye Er was here yesterday, but he was not today. The dance studio was not small. It took up more than 1,000 square meters of space and was divided into many classrooms. The decoration was also more upscale than other dance studios in Haicheng. Nowadays, people who hired private tutors at home would come here to learn. It was said that they had hired a few famous dancers as their teaching assistants. It was impossible to hire them from outside. There was a class every half a month and it was quite a gimmick. She could hear the sound of the teacher teaching the dance steps or practicing the basics. Ouyang Yen asked the staff about Ye Er's whereabouts. Almost no one could resist Ouyang Yen's pure-as-water smile and her polite and noble demeanor. Although her face was beautiful, it didn't make any women feel threatened. Ye Er just stared at Jiang Zhao without saying a word. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. He did not even dare to blink. If he did, he would burst into tears. Jiang Zhao rubbed his chin. Yinyi, it's been so long. You still don't believe me? I haven't contacted her since. Just now I couldn't get through to your phone, so I called her. Ye Er sneered at this moment. Jiang Zhao, who are you lying to? You even gave her your credit card. Does Ouyang Yen lack money? Calculating the expiration date of the credit card, that card was applied for in the past 2 months. You say you haven't contacted her? Ha, if you haven't contacted her, then why did you come to me with the card you gave her to show off? When did I give her a card? Jiang Zhao was also furious. These words were clearly shouted out with bulging veins. This was simply an attempt to pin a crime on him. He should have swallowed the humiliation in the past. Regardless of whether he had the other party's Dao or not, the matter was there. If he didn't make things clear then, he wouldn't be able to make things clear in the future. He could not do anything about it. But Ye Er said that he gave his credit card to Ouyang Yen. This was simply ridiculous. With his current relationship with the family Ouyang, it was impossible for him to apply for Ouyang Yan's own card, let alone apply for Ouyang Yan's own card. Yinyi, you've learned how to slander people for no reason, haven't you? Ye Er grabbed the newly drafted package form on the table and smashed it on the ground. Am I slandering you? The card that Ouyang Yen used in front of me yesterday was your card. You are Jiang Zhao's card. You said that you wanted to lead a good life, Jiang Zhao. You were the one who said that you wanted to lead a good life and lead a new life. Ouyang Yen is pregnant now. Ye Er stomped hard on the form on the ground. She finally blinked, and with this blinking she lost all her strength. What does her pregnancy have to do with me? Jiang Zhao grabbed Ye Er, who was venting, and held her in place. Tell me, what does her pregnancy have to do with me? What does it have to do with me? Jiang Zhao was about to go crazy because of this matter. He hadn't had a moment of peace in the past few months. When he thought about ruining the family Ouyang, he finally felt that he could vent his anger. Now that this matter had suddenly come knocking on his door, he also wanted to smash things. He also wanted to vent his anger with all his might. Timdi. What did Ouyang Yan's pregnancy have to do with him? If it has nothing to do with you, then why did she go to Ninth Mansion? She said that the child she's pregnant with is yours. It's yours. It's yours. Ye Er really went all out this time. She pulled open Jiang Zhao's suit and unbuttoned the top 2 buttons on his shirt. Then she bit down on his shoulder, whimpering as she bit. It was already painful to break the skin. At this moment Ye Er's tears dripped into the broken flesh. Jiang Zhao frowned and hissed, Yunyi, you won't believe me for the rest of your life, right? If she says it's mine, then you'll think it's mine, right? Ye Er was trapped in Jiang Zhao's arms. The moment she let go of Jiang Zhao, she slumped back weakly. There was still some blood in her mouth. She was so angry that the lipstick on her lips had stained Jiang Zhao's shoulder. Her lips were stained with the blood from Jiang Zhao's shoulder. How am I supposed to believe you? Jiang Zhao. What about the child? What should I do? Jiang Zhao was so angry that his tall body was trembling. He reached out to grab Ye Er's shoulder and shook her forcefully. When he glared at Ye Er, his eyes were filled with anger and disappointment. I told you. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't sleep with her. How many times have I told you that I don't have any memories of that period of time? How many times have I told you that I don't remember sleeping with her? I don't feel anything at all, Yunyi. You'll never believe me. If I slept with you, even if we didn't do it, even if we just kissed and hugged, there's no way I wouldn't remember it at all. Why won't you believe me? Jiang Zhao was already tired of explaining. Just as he said, how many times had he said it? How many times had he said it? But Ye Er always judged him based on what other men did. In her eyes, even if a man was caught in bed, he would say that he was seduced by another woman. Even though the office door was closed, the 3 people outside could still hear the argument inside. Even though Xiaoya was quick-witted, when she heard the argument, she went to look for the supervisor and asked her not to come to the office. The supervisor was familiar with Xiaoya and knew that Xiaoya and Ye Er were good friends, so she agreed to let Xiaoya go. She even called out the person in the finance office and told her not to work for now. If anyone wanted to come to the office or finance office to look for Ye Er, the supervisor would stand at the end of the corridor and send them away. Xia Qian wondered if she should go in and persuade her. Xiaoya pulled her back and glanced at Ouyang Yan, who was standing beside them. She saw that Ouyang Yan was still standing there elegantly with a slight smirk on her face. She looked a little smug. Smug? Smug. She wasn't mistaken. This woman had heard the argument from outside the door and looked a little smug. Originally, Xiaoya wanted to ask Ouyang Yan to leave, but Ouyang Yan said that she and Jiang Zhao were friends. Now that she thought about it, something was wrong. If they were friends, why did Ye Er have such a reaction when she saw this woman yesterday? Xiaoya had a lot on her mind. She wanted to ask for an explanation, but Ouyang Yan had already taken a step forward and opened the office door. Mistress, come and see. Songshu 566, that you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.